Ray, we're live.
No.
Ray.
Ignore them?
Never. Completely ignore those things.
Okay. Oh, hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Mike.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm
Greg. Mr. Boxes.
Mr. Boxes.
Mr. Boxes, yes.
This may not work out. I may want just one. I should have just done one camera because...
No, it's fine. I'm going to be over here just a random voice. Kind of like Liz, but not as witty. And I'll let you see me when I feel like it. How about that?
Cool.
If you are so privileged.
Yes. It will be your privilege.
I think it would be perfect if we always saw Jeff when you were speaking, and we always saw you when Jeff was speaking.
Yes, I should say something. Say something, Jeff.
Yeah.
What? All of a sudden he just looks at me like, no, I've run out of things to say suddenly. I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff.
That was very good. That almost worked, Jeff.
I was trying to mouth what you were saying. Oh, you're... blah, 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 blah.
Excellent. Of course, if you fed in enough of a delay, you'd know.
True. That's for you, Nick, from Greg.
Ah, good Lord. COVID is messing things up. Well, if you made it all the way across to the United Kingdom and came to that, what I'm going to quietly describe as a grotty little airport, which is not worth visiting. It just so happens it's the place I started working. That's the only reason I picked it. It's got a
Wait a
very
minute.
small.
That was the place that you started working and cleaning
Yes.
toilets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I've heard him
I
say
think
it
he did
several
clean
times.
toilets there, though.
I know.
I mean,
Yes.
He said that.
Absolutely. In fact, I went and peed in the very toilets I used to clean. They're not as clean as they used to be.
well, standards have slipped, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a backup.
But it's not a very salubrious little airfield.
One of my favorite words in the English language.
Clearly, it's one of Nick's as well.
Salubrious.
Moist as well. Salubrious and moist.
Don't care for that one. Yeah.
Slippery, salubrious.
It was a
and
moist yet salubrious toilet.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work.
It was a moist morning.
Oh, good.
Oh, you're a little overexposed there.
A little.
Oh, excuse me. I guess we should turn the camera off then.
Probably. Oh, that's much better. I can only see your
I thought
ear
you'd
now.
like that better.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a great way. You just lean in to the frame when it's your turn to talk.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, the lighting is
exposure.
awful. Like I feel like there's light coming out of my face somehow. Like I am the lighting source.
It's a bit contrasty, isn't it?
Instead of a light-emitting diode, it's a light-emitting doctor.
Well, that's interesting.
This is always so weird.
Let's see how horrible we can make it before
Well,
it
you know,
actually. I'm just kidding.
what do I do to... I mean, I don't know how to fix
Here.
that.
Watch.
Okay,
I'm gonna screw it up.
sure. Go ahead. Oh, yeah,
Wait,
take all the saturation
wait.
out. You making it black and white?
Yes.
Oh,
At least it won't
why?
look like I have light coming out of my face.
I like the lights coming out of your face.
Well, what's the source of illumination? Because whatever it is, it's not hitting Jeff. It's Jeff. It's all seems to be hitting Steph.
It's a lamp.
That's not bad. That's
Literally
not
right
bad.
in
Stop
front.
messing.
And it's actually the window.
It's the window, actually.
And
Okay, well, stop messing with it. That's not bad.
how's that? That's good, yeah?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. How many times do you want me to tell you? It's not bad.
That's
Good.
the last time you need to tell us.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean,
See, I fixed it.
So now
Yeah, very good.
we can do, and we can then switch back to this too. and
That's
then we
way
can go
too
to that.
difficult. We're gonna forget to switch.
I know. So we should just put it
That's
on the...
neat. How does that work?
Yeah.
I like
Yep.
that. It's very
So
good.
maybe...
magic.
You know what we should do?
Let's
just use one of these.
No, let's just use them, and I'll
Okay.
just try and switch it. You don't worry about switching. I'm just gonna randomly reach over here to.
All right.
switch back.
Randomly switch it
All right.
at random points.
I should have put the switcher over on your side.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1. Camera
Yeah,
2.
that's very good. That works fine.
And say that
Why
when you're
didn't
doing
you
it.
put the switcher
will.
in front of Steph, Jeff?
I just said that. I think I screwed up there. I should definitely have.
He
put
gave
it-
me the volume, so I could just turn him down when we don't want to listen to him anymore.
Oh, that's okay. That's fair enough.
I don't know which one.
I
you're
put
plugged
way too many
into, though.
controls at her. I'm not so sure.
How
I like
far
all
do
those
you have to
controls.
move?
Where's-
How do you
where
have
are
to
the
move
sound
the
effects,
ATM
though?
Mini? Like 9 inches.
I'm not going to tell you.
I'll find it eventually.
She's wondering where the sound effects are, and I'm not going to tell her.
Ah,
I'm not sure I know.
Eventually, he's going to use them, and I will figure it out. So
Well, I'm glad you're mentioning that because I do need to
open that program.
actually have it open. Oh shoot! I didn't do the intro from Roger. Okay, hang on. I can do this very quickly. I promise. Yeah, trust me. Oh, come on, Nick. Okay, do your little thing, talk to the people, and then go. Pat it with you.
good. I have another night off. That'd be lovely.
You are dismissed now. Radio
I've
Roger.
got 4 beers here to drink before I can go.
Oh God!
boy.
Oh, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
4 to go?
Yes.
Could you,
well, I'm halfway
Turn
through
off
the first.
air conditioning?
Yes.
Thanks.
I've got 3 more after this.
Okay. Thank you, Steph. Let's see. Where would that have been? That would have been in my email. Oh, watch where you're stepping. Walk much?
Nope. First time today.
Roger Stern, 490 intro, and I'm gonna do this, and then boom, and then I'm gonna put it here at desktop, save.
Hey, chat room. We just didn't want you to miss out on all this pre-show goodness.
Yeah, a lot of things going on here. A lot of things.
Because when we actually start on time, then you would complain that you missed out on the pre-show.
There's nothing going on
Yeah.
here.
Quite a conundrum. Oh, you haven't seen. They have not seen anything yet. Right? I mean, we save all that really nasty, the nasty stuff we keep from them.
For the post-show. Yeah. The post-show
Yeah.
shenanigans. But we all say what we really thought about the show.
And what we really think about the chat room.
Yep.
But
And we talk about them individually.
That great
Okay,
name.
we're going to go like this. And
By starting
little
early,
markers.
says Greg, you're going to start on time. If
Oh,
we're
shut
lucky.
up,
I know.
Greg.
I was just referencing all of that.
Airline
Oh,
pilot guy
look.
up.
What
I'm
the
sorry.
hell was that?
guess that's a little bit too loud. That was
No, no, it
Roger.
was just a
You can blame that
surprise.
on Roger. Roger was yelling. Okay, split. And then
New York City.
New York City. And then we go like this. And
To be honest, I haven't followed much of that, but it is crazy.
didn't you
The little
tell
bit
us
that I
about
know.
that?
No, I didn't tell you
Oh,
about that.
shoot. I was wrong. Sorry, Liz.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Dead, and then he tried to hire someone to kill him, only they botched that and just kind of grazed his head. And
Today's
yeah,
show is recorded
I don't.
on
That's
the
all I know.
20th of September.
Do you know everything I know? I don't know. I very seldom watch
In
the
today's
news.
episode,
So.
and the upright and li- is ready for pushback.
Okay. Let me just go to the front.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
Airline pilot guy episode.
Okay, save. Render. This is 490. And we're going to go to 490 in the drop box.
It's
And
a
it's
Kiwi in
rendering.
LA. We used to have a Kiwi on our squadron. We called him Wiki. I suppose
Wiki.
it was,
Oh, that's kind of
yeah,
rude.
as opposed to Kiwi, Wiki.
Okay. We go here. And then...
Ah, those Yak 52s getting around, are they, Ian? Wow. How many in their team?
Steph is making me breathe hard.
What?
Making my heart pitter-patter.
Wow. I'm sitting here.
High crew
Just
from,
looking
at
is
stuff on
that
my
a
phone.
New Zealand flag
Apparently
or
that's
a...
very- That's
It might
very
be a New Zealand
appealing.
It's very titillating.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wow.
8. I think they're a great airplane, Ian, for what you want to do with them. They're very sturdy, apparently, very hard-working. They eat the gas a bit, but compared with a lot of machines, they're perfect.
What the hell is he talking about?
Easy to maintain.
Okay. Now.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
I know, I'm purposely doing that.
A little quiet.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 4.
A little soft, actually.
Sorry.
That is definitely what she said.
I'm out of practice. Okay.
That's what NOTAMs are. They're just a bunch of garbage.
Just a bunch of
that
garbage.
nobody pays any
Nobody
attention
pays
to.
attention to. Me too. Okay. I think maybe
Start.
we're getting close.
We're going to start. We're still early.
I know. Look at that.
That's good.
Take
We'll surprise
that,
everybody.
chat room.
Yeah.
They'll all think
They're
their
already
watches
surprised.
are broken.
The problem is my
Oh,
camera's over
Tim
here,
Van
but I
Ram's
need to
off
look
to
at
meet
things over
Dana.
Well, you want to move
That's
it
nice.
somehow?
No. I will just try to stare very confrontationally at the camera every time that I want to speak. That's fine.
Pardon me. Oh dear. Twice.
Okay.
Do you want me to hit my
that?
record button then?
Oh, yeah. There we go. We're recording. Yes, sir.
Definitely been
I am
recording.
Recording.
Well, no. We just started.
No, just started.
Okay.
On time.
Early.
I think maybe we're really close.
Close enough for government work.
So Rick's not going to be able to join us today, correct?
Boo.
That was my understanding.
Okay. I have no idea what I was referring to.
I don't know. I
thought
saw nothing of the
I thought
sort.
I saw a text from somebody that said they were going to try to join us. No, but I mean, I thought I saw one recently, Liz, that somebody said that they were going to try to join us.
He was asking me 4 times, but I thought he was talking to you guys because I was over on the other side of the
She's
room.
ignoring me
and
again.
I wasn't listening. I was tuning him out.
You're really good at that.
I know. Practice.
I don't know what it was I saw.
Well, he was messaging a little
It was
earlier,
a figment of your.
saying still overcast at 100. But I can't see anything else.
Maybe I have. No, that's fine. I don't know. I'm just I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so our mic volumes are relatively level. Okay. Recording over here. Excellent. Excellent. That's excellent that it's excellent. Okay. Quit looking. She's giving me dirty looks again.
Me?
Liz. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just waiting for Evernote to load on my phone so I don't have to look all the way over here all the time.
Okay.
It's still loading, though.
Oh, it looks like it's downloading a new version.
Yeah. Because I don't have automatic downloads on, I think.
Okay.
I don't know why. I never changed that. It just did that, and then I just haven't fixed it.
You should fix that.
Probably.
If you want to. Okay.
Fix it in post.
Yeah. Okay, Liz, I'm getting the signal from you. Start the show. She's whistling like, I don't know. All right. Still need to have this available for me to push. Let's put that up here. And
come on, man.
okay. Even Biden's on my ass.
I know.
Damn. All right. Here we go. You ready, Liz? Telephone. You might want to pick that up.
Hello?
Hello? Whose phone was that?
Liz's.
Okay. Here we go.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 490.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from Studio 2D at the Holiday Inn in Charlotte, North Carolina. Today's show is recorded on the 20th of September, 2021.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Picture light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, an air freighter crashes in Indonesia after an aborted landing. The Air Force is moving ahead with developing a C-130 cargo seaplane. More news, your feedback, and today's plane tale. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and lock positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 490 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He is an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins in
New York City.
I'm Captain Jeff, a pilot at a major legacy airline based in Atlanta, Georgia. And then usually I say before that, welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. And joining me today, she's like right here sitting next to me. There she is.
Hi.
She, from her, no, next to me in the hotel studio.
Right
Doctor,
here. Literally
skydiver,
right here.
marathon runner, strength training junkie, IPA connoisseur, and commercial multi-engine instrument-rated backstabbing jumper dumper, Dr. Steph.
It's my fault that he's distracted and not reading the script in the correct order.
Did I mention
I'll
we
take
were
all
in
the blame
North
for that.
Kakalaki?
North Kakalaki.
All right.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to
It's
see
gonna be a good show. I
Good
can
to
tell
see you.
already. Yeah.
There's
Right
Steph. There's me.
Camera 1, camera 2.
Okay. And also joining, shut up, Liz, from his studio in
Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
professional photographer, former R.A.F, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virginia. Virginia.
No, Jeff, we're in
who's the
North
retard
Kakalaki.
down there?
Virginia's a different state, and that has nothing to do with the airline that Nick used to fly for.
I was trying so hard
to be smooth,
to finish all that up at the right point.
Yes, hit your mark.
Yeah, and I missed it. Missed
well,
it big time.
Can't be perfect all the time.
I'm not a professional. Oh well. So hello, Captain Nick. Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
Hi, Jeff, and hi, Steph. I'm feeling exceedingly jealous with you two guys having so much fun there that you're muffing your lines.
Well,
muffing, hey?
We haven't even had a chance to get started yet.
Yes. Well, have fun together.
Well, we are, and I can't wait to that time in the future that we all can be together, all in front of the same cameras in
Yes.
one place.
We can't decide if we should have one camera or two cameras. So today we're doing two, maybe one.
It's kind of
we
confusing.
have the option.
Yeah, might have to go to the one camera. I'm starting to get dizzy.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. Now, I think it's time for us to. Thank you, Liz. She's saying smooth. Time for the news.
Stand by for news.
All right. The first item in the news folder is from Aviation Herald. And Simon Radke. We're going to talk about him in the next segment, by the way. Anyway, let's start talking about this one here. A Rimbun.
You said Rimbum?
A Rimbum.
It says Rimbun. Rimbun.
Okay. Rimbun. Air de Havilland DHC 6-300. Is that a Twin Otter? Okay.
It's a 300 series Twin Otter, yeah.
Ah, okay. Performing a freight flight from Nabayar to Intan, Jaya. Hang on. I think I have that right here. Okay.
Sri Jaya.
With three crew, had attempted an approach to Intan Jaya's Belore airport. Seriously, Liz, did you pick this because of all the hard...
She picked it for two reasons. Because it's a Twin Otter and because it has all these difficult names for you to try to
And the other reason is because
Yes.
the next few words include the term dense.
Okay. Well, yeah. Dense can be an adjective used in many ways. But in this case, they were operating in dense fog when the crew initiated a go-around at 7:22 local time. A short time later, loud noises of an impact and trees falling was heard at the airport without ever sighting the aircraft. A signal of the emergency locator transmitter activated at that time. Emergency services activated and attempted to find the aircraft. About 2 hours later, a helicopter was able to locate the aircraft, and it feels like this is a run-on sentence.
It is a run-on sentence, but
Okay.
just keep going with it.
All
It's
right.
fine. It's got all the relevant information.
Yeah, a helicopter was able to locate the aircraft at an altitude of 2,400 meters, which is 7,870 feet MSL, about 4,500 meters, 2.4 nautical miles from the runway, in a state of total destruction. There were no signs of survivors. Emergency services reached the crash site later that day and found all three crew perished. The aircraft was carrying building materials to Intan, Jaya. Intan, Jaya. The Intan, Jaya police reported the aircraft was located at an elevation of 2,400 meters. Okay, didn't we already talk
No,
about
we did not
this?
say this.
Yeah, we did. I mean, it's just another way to
Yeah,
state
it's
it.
more or
I
less
guess.
the same.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's pretty
The
simple.
bit at
Anyway,
the bottom you hadn't
here, let me-
said, Captain's mobile
Okay,
phone
well,
was still
why don't you read
logged
that?
on.
Pardon me?
Well, I've just said it. The captain's mobile phone was still logged onto the network.
Oh,
But
that's
when the
right.
phone is being called, there is no response. Well, that's probably because the poor guy's deceased.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, you cannot, Liz. Let's show this picture here. There we go. And that is the total state of destruction remains of the aircraft. And this is Google Earth view of that region and the airport, and then it says approximate final position, and that's high terrain over there
Yeah.
to the left, or to the, I guess, to the west of the airport. If this is aligned with north, which it should be.
Should
Can't
be.
tell. Yeah. That's probably something that's showing north.
Right there, I think,
Yeah.
is trying to show that's north.
Anyway, so sounds like they were attempting an approach in
Bad
low
weather.
visibility conditions, and obviously had to go around because they, couldn't see the runway or whatever they were required to see to continue the approach, and then somehow they mucked up the miss, apparently.
Right. But this was on their go around departing the aircraft or the airport environment, or they were still inbound at that point?
I think they were inbound coming from the east.
From the east
I think.
across
and
the.
then,
Okay.
Although it doesn't really
It doesn't say.
No, there's not a lot of information about what approach they were flying or anything, but I'm assuming that they were coming in from the east.
It didn't say which runway they were trying to land on.
No, it didn't. Unless I missed it.
We skipped a chunk of stuff there.
Yeah, well, I don't. Nick,
doesn't
do you
say.
see anything about what
I
runway
don't
they
see
were
it.
approaching to?
Well, I mean, I do see that the airfield is at 7,200 feet, and the aircraft was located in elevation of 5,000 to 6,000 feet. Oh, no, 2,400 meters. How many feet is that? I'm just trying to work out.
7,870. So they were about 600 feet higher.
600 feet
The train
higher.
was 600 feet higher.
Having flown 2 miles, so that they were either climbing at, 300 feet a minute, which isn't much if you're doing a go around, but then again, they are fairly high. Yeah. Or they.
It depends on how much they had
why.
loaded. If they were bringing construction materials, but they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously in poor weather. It's possible they had an instrument failure or became disorientated during the go around. It happens more frequently than we would like to admit to, I think. But it could be either. They didn't climb sufficiently quickly, or they lost control of the airplane, or the airplane had a major malfunction. Not a good time for any of those.
Nope. Not at all. Okay,
But very sad
hopefully
to
we'll
see
learn
a
more.
lovely twatter destroyed.
Yes, that makes me very sad. It happens on a somewhat frequent basis, but lots to do with where these aircraft fly in mountainous terrain and unimproved fields and things like that. So.
Yeah, but I mean, Steph, it's normally a fairly forgiving aircraft, is it not? It doesn't have many
to fly,
vices.
sure. Yeah, no, not really. It flies nice.
I mean, heck, if Steph can fly it,
if
it
I
must
can
be
fly it,
pretty darn easy.
Ooh, steady
no,
on
the
you
way
now.
it was.
She's
Thanks.
She's only a shoulder punch away, and
I know
you'll be crying. Exactly.
No, it's a forgiving aircraft to fly, but I think a lot of times they're being flown in very challenging situations and short fields, unimproved fields, mountainous terrain, bad weather, lots of challenging situations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hopefully we'll learn more information about what happened there. And then if we do, we'll pass it on to you, the listeners. So let's continue on with the next news item. And this one happens to be, well, you know what? It's a video, but it's really just audio that we really want to hear. And it's an exchange that occurred, an air traffic control pilot exchange at ATL. What is that?
I don't know. It sounds vaguely familiar. Like small airport in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think.
not very busy.
No.
Yeah.
Small. Yeah.
Anyway, at the Atlanta International Airport. And it's an interesting recording. Now, I don't know how much of the conversation is included in this video from VAS Aviation. I have a feeling that not everything is in here because it seemed... Anyway, let's listen to it and then we'll talk about it. VAS Aviation. Real aviation communications. Busy afternoon at busiest airport with long delays on the 19th of August, 2021.
Delta 1410 on at the slow, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff.
Slow, 27 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 1410.
Delta 2086 tower, runway 27 right, line of flight.
27 right, line of flight, Delta 2086. Tower, Delta 2570.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're number one here at Lima Charlie. Should we start them up?
I don't know who told you not to start them up. Yeah, I mean, you're next to go. Do I need to resequence you?
Okay, you guys got to get it together because the ground crew didn't know, and now we don't know, but we're starting it. We'll be ready.
It's not my job to tell you when to start your engines. It's never been the tower's job. What are you talking about?
We were never given a sequence. We passed you ground to you to ground, and no one had a sequence for us. Stop.
All right, Delta 2570. This is the only question I'm going to ask you. Are you ready to go?
Affirmative, Delta 2570.
All right. Delta 1410, kind of departure.
1410, nice joke.
So when it gets busy like this, Delta 2570, like I haven't been on this position all night. I just got up here 10 minutes ago. But usually the ground controller, if he's a good ground controller, he or she, when we have control spacing out of our gates, he'll put one on Lima to Lima Bravo and the other departures on Mike, and then everyone that's going northbound or westbound down to Lima Alpha. So that's why you're seeing planes everywhere.
No worries. We asked him. He said we were number 12, so we're just trying to conserve fuel, that's all.
Delta 2570, line up weight 27 right.
Line up weight 27 right, Delta 2570.
Delta 2570, wind 3508, RNF the football, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff.
RNF football, clear for takeoff 27 right, Delta 2570.
Okay.
I love it when
I never hear
says,
exchanges like that on air traffic control frequencies.
You haven't been around enough. I love it when guys say.
I think she's being very
extremely...
sarcastic.
Hello, am
Yes,
I just talking to myself here?
No.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, you can't hear me.
Yeah,
No,
I can hear. We can hear you. We're just ignoring you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I can't see you at the moment though because Jeff's got too many things like up on the screen. So I didn't know.
Okay. Here.
It's messing up my. Oh.
Well, yeah.
Well, where are you, Nick?
I think he just decided to leave.
Talking about tense conversations,
Nick,
exchanges.
Come back.
Nick.
Well, only if you're nice. Stop talking over me.
Being nice.
How are
I
we
was
being mean?
trying
I
to
think everybody's
say.
just talking. Yes,
Okay,
go ahead.
No,
Okay.
that's my third attempt. That's enough. I've given up now.
Sorry. Liz has been listening to too much air traffic control.
Absolutely.
Like too much live ATC.
Liz has been very rude.
You have to insert that one in the audio.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You'll understand, Nick, when you listen to the audio only podcast, why we're being distracted, because there's some control room person that's. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
It's all you, Nick. We want to know what you were going to say. And I'm sorry, that was my fault. I was talking over you. But
No, I'm not.
you can't see me, so it makes it hard to know what's going on.
I'm not going to say it now.
Fine, be that way.
Is this the first meltdown that we've had?
Nick, we would really appreciate knowing your insights into how things work on frequency between pilots and controllers.
No, I'm waiting for your very informed
retired-
comments. You guys carry on. I'm good here. Yeah, in London, quietly, at 10:15 at night.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to pretend like we just listened to this.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying before I played this, it seems that we may have been missing some of the communications that had happened. I think it was probably consolidated by the gentleman who does VAS Aviation. But I just want to say right off the bat that if you're looking for who's to blame for this kind of tense, I don't know if I'd call it an argument, but kind of a tense exchange. And I'm talking about the air traffic control thing, not the thing going on between the hosts right now, is the fact that I think it started off by Delta 2570 kind of making, I thought, a somewhat inappropriate comment that you got to get it together.
So those kinds of comments, in my opinion, never need to be said on frequency. I mean, just stick to what needs to be said. If you think you've been slighted in some way, you're upset about something, it's really not going to expedite the situation or make anything better in that moment by having a snarky comment to start off with. You can explain yourself if there's concern over why things happened the way that they did, but it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be emotionally driven or sarcastic in any way.
Mm-hmm. And
No,
I
it
think
has its place, but not really there.
No.
I think what may have happened here, and this is just, I'm just supposing this, my supposition, is that they were told that they were like number 12 in the sequence quite a ways back in time. And I'm not sure that they advise, anytime that we think we're going to have a big delay, we will suggest, we'll have a conversation in the cockpit. Do you think maybe we should shut down an engine or shut down both engines if we're going to be a while? But you never do that on your own without talking with ground control or tower. You just don't, on your own, just decide to shut your engines down because they may need you to move the airplane somewhere. And so I'm wondering if they just kind of did that on their own and without telling anybody. And then it was kind of, this guy was going like, what? Yeah, why don't you have your engines running? You're next for departure. So I think that may have been maybe a factor in this whole thing. But then, of course, the controller got really defensive and started he started getting a little bit emotional as well with this whole thing. So I think it was just, I personally think that the Delta saying, you guys got to get it together, was the thing that kind of just made this, it was like the straw, the catalyst.
Well, it was accusatory,
that's
right?
what kicked it off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But what amuses me about these situations is that whenever the air traffic controller starts explaining the intricacies of his job at length, he always starts it by saying something like, we're really busy up here trying to do all this stuff, and then tells the guy for the next 30 seconds why he's really busy.
We're really busy, but let me take this time to pause here
just
for my really busyness.
To absolutely make sure you understand entirely why we're so really busy up here, which I just find kind of amusing. But yeah, I think you're exactly right, Jeff. Delta kicked it off by making a sarky comment, which I don't think was entirely justified. And the controller, who was new on position and not really caught up with it and wasn't aware that he'd shut his engines down, reacted.
Right.
If either of those comments had been taken out of the equation, things would have been fine.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You could have said,
hey, the Delta could have started off with, we were told it was going to be a while. Are you okay if we're ready to go? And he could have said, sorry, I didn't realize you'd been told that.
Right.
Are you going to be ready, or do you need to be resequenced? That would have been fine.
Exactly. Said, hey, sorry, we thought we were going to be delayed a little bit more, so just give us like 2 minutes to get the engines running and we'll be ready to go, or something like that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so I thought it was an interesting exchange, and that sort of thing happens.
Well, how many times during a day, this is just in general, outside of aviation, do you want to tell someone, you guys got to get your act together?
But you don't actually say it.
But you don't actually say it, right? Get your act together. Yes. Oh, wait.
Come on, Steph. From you, it just needs a hard stare.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but it's hard to get a stare from Steph if you don't have her, you can't see her. You gotta, here, let me, like this, you can see her now. Oh.
No, they were already.
There we go. Oh. Yeah. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. All right. Well, that's all we have to say about that one, I think.
Oh, I kind of like the person who said stop. That was pretty funny,
I was going to mention that too. Yeah, that
Stan brought it back up in the chat room.
Yeah, it goes like stop. Like
stop.
It was like, come on, guys, settle down. Come on. Yeah. Can't we all just get along?
That would have been a better thing to say. I would have liked that.
Mm-hmm. All right, item C. And this is from stuff.co.nz. Right?
What's Z? I don't know.
New Zealand.
Or NZ. Air New Zealand and global aviation giant Airbus are joining forces to explore how zero-emission aircraft could be flown in New Zealand.
It's New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now. I understand.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ooh, she's being snarky. Okay, under a memorandum of understanding with Airbus, Air New Zealand will analyze the impact hydrogen aircraft may have on its network operations and infrastructure. Airbus will provide the airline with hydrogen aircraft performance requirements and ground operations to support the airline's decarbonization roadmap. Air New Zealand has a goal of net zero emissions by 2050, while Airbus has ambitions to develop a zero-emission commercial aircraft by 2035. Airbus's blended wing-body concept plane would carry up to 200 passengers and have a range of 3,700 kilometers. Airbus has a project called Zero E, which looks to, I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Zero, small e.
Zero, big letters.
E, lowercase.
Small e, which looks to use hydrogen propulsion for turboprop, turbofan, and blended wing-body aircraft. They would be powered by hydrogen combustion through modified gas turbine engines. Anyway, here, let me show you a picture of this thing, this blended body thingamajig. And let's see here. Share the picture, Jeffrey. That's what I'm looking for. Share screen, and here we go. There's just got to be a better way to do this. There we go. So there is the blended body Airbus Zero concept aircraft. How would you pronounce that?
Zero E.
Zero E.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. Very clever. Although, you know, the airplane, they're going to have to make it a lot bigger to carry passengers.
People? It looks kind of like a drone.
It is kind of ugly.
It looks like a
yeah.
Sea Ray or something.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but it's got a door. So either that's a very big door, it's not going to carry 200 people in there.
No.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Unless they put them in suspended animation and stack them like cords of wood.
I think it's got sunroofs, though, Micah.
Is that what those things are on the top?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, Mike is...
Solar panels, yeah.
Mike is saying, as you can see, window-free aircraft are coming. That may actually be true.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, well, there's not much point in having windows in a blended body.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to say about that? That's just interesting that...
well, we covered the story of this style of aircraft that Airbus is developing a while back. We even saw a model of it flying, and I think it's a great concept.
That's true.
I think it'll be a very efficient, aircraft design. It'd be lovely to see it happen. So it'll be, it would be the first, major change in airliner design that we've really seen in many decades. It would be great. And if they can combine it with an all-electric airplane with a decent range, I think people will be jumping at the chance to have it.
Yep. All right. Here's an interesting... Speaking of Micah, he just made a comment in our live audience. He sent this to us. The news item is from the Bangor Daily News.com, Bangor, Maine. Bangor International Airport will be almost entirely closed on October 4 and 5 to allow for runway repairs. Nearly every regularly scheduled flight in and out of the airport will not occur on those days, though one flight may leave in the early morning of October 4, airport spokesperson Amy Thibodeau said Wednesday. Life Flight will be able to operate its helicopter at the airport, but not its fixed-wing aircraft. The airport is recommending that travelers who have booked flights for those days contact their airlines if they haven't already received notice about cancellations. For those who need to travel otherwise, the airport recommends that passengers fly out of Portland International Jetport 2 hours to the south. That happens to be where Maine man Micah lives. Very close to there anyway. The repairs will address degradation in the runway's concrete that can create deformities, the airport said. The degradation is the result of the alkali silica reaction. Oh, yeah. The alkali silica.
Yeah, everyone knows about that.
Reaction. Yeah.
It'll get you every time.
Known commonly as concrete cancer.
Duh.
Well, I wish they'd just said that right off the top.
I know. I would have not been so confused.
Yeah. A swelling reaction that commonly occurs in concrete over time. The Bangor City Council approved the airport using unused grant funding the Bangor City Council approved the airport using unused grant funding for the project in January. Okay. Well, anyway, Mike, his concern about this, he was concerned that, or he believes that Bangor is the first emergency landing site in the U.S. westbound from Europe and the last one in the U.S. eastbound. And so I thought, I looked at my Jeppesen Flight Deck Pro app, and let me share that with everybody here. Why does it take so many darn clicks to do this?
Because it doesn't like you.
I know. Okay. There we go. So that is from the Flight Deck Pro app, and you can see Bangor is over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. No, you can't.
BGR, Burger.
Yeah, KBGR, Burgerville is right over here in Maine. And then, of course, we see several Canadian airports, some labeled as emergency, and this one here, YCH, I'm not sure what that one stands for. Do you know, Liz, offhand? In Canada. Anyway,
it's the one in blue.
Yeah, if you look on the one in the blue, CYCH.
I don't know that one, so I don't think it's a sort of airfield we'd use for any top star.
Moncton, Halifax, and
yeah, you got Moncton, Halifax, St John's up the top there, and of course there's Gander.
Up here, the upper right.
Can you see Gander? I can't see Gander, but that's there as well. So you got like 4 major airfields there in Canada that you would normally use when you coast in. And Bangor is the most northerly United States airfield as opposed to Canadian airfield. But normally people would go past Bangor to get to somewhere slightly better. But Bangor's certainly usable. No reason why not. It's just going to leave a little bit of a gap between the Canadian diversions and the U.S. diversions.
Well, I did contact Mike Carrolls, the dispatcher extraordinaire for Acme Airlines, and I thought, if anybody would know what to say about this, it would be Mike. And so I reached out to him, and he got back with me and said, obviously, Portland, Maine, Manchester, New Hampshire, Boston, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Buffalo, and I don't know why that's there. I can't get rid of it. Oh, thank you. And Albany are all nearby. The yellow circles that are not labeled are the adequate and ETOPS alternates we have in Canada. He said, I will say, though, it's funny that there are not any NOTAMs published yet.
That sounds like an airport authority, airport manager issue.
So he said, basically, not a problem. There are a lot of alternatives that they can use in place of Bangor. So, yeah. I think the biggest concern are probably the passengers that have flights booked for that day, those days. They're not going to be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. Actually, that was occurring in Charleston, West Virginia, a few weekends ago when I was up there. I couldn't fly in on the Saturday because they have one runway up there, and it was closed for repairs for most of the day on a Saturday.
Perfect day for airport repairs.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of cancellations and stuff, this trip that I'm on right now is this day one. I noticed that one of the flights is canceled on Wednesday. But the little app that we use to kind of track our flights and other information about the flights doesn't say anything about it, and nobody has changed our rotation yet, our trip pairing. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here, if they're going to notice that there's no flight for us to fly out of New Orleans on Wednesday morning. I might be stranded in the Big Easy. I don't know. I was talking with a flight attendant that was commuting from Fort Walton Beach to Atlanta this morning, and then she said, I think that they're only letting crews do like turns, like from a city to New Orleans and back, and not letting anybody lay over there because of the situation in New Orleans because of the
hurricane
storm, the hurricane that went through. So that might be the deal, but I don't know. Just from what I can see on the information that I have on my trip, doesn't look like anybody
No,
is really
nothing's-
that concerned about
Yeah,
it.
well,
So
I don't care.
We'll see. Maybe I'll have something to talk about on the next show,
Indeed.
right?
Hey, you want to do some?
Pardon me? Oh yeah, the Crescent. I think, what do they call that? The Crescent something or other.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Amtrak,
Amtrak.
train. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Does anyone want to do trivia for a moment?
Yes. Let's do it. Hang on. Let's see
This is
if we
for
can,
this is for Jeff and Nick and Liz if she wants to play, but no cheating. Which airport is farther north in the United States? Bangor, Maine, or Seattle, Washington?
Well, because you're asking the question, it's got to be Seattle.
It's Seattle.
Otherwise, I would have said Bangor, but wow, didn't realize.
Seattle,
Okay.
47 degrees north, and Bangor, Maine was, I have to go back to it, 45, I think, degrees north.
That's interesting. Well, hey, which city is more to
West?
the west? Reno?
Reno.
I didn't even wait a minute.
Or Los
you gotta
Angeles.
wait till
Sorry.
I say that.
Ah.
Or
I
Atlanta.
was going to say Seattle's more west.
Wrong.
Seattle is more west.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is not good.
Reno is farther west than Los Angeles.
Yes.
If anyone wants to know.
Yeah, because you think, at least most of us think that Los
Well,
Angeles
because your brain
being
just
on the west
compartmentalizes
coast.
things up into north, south, east, west.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, fascinating stuff, folks. Fascinating
This
stuff.
is the kind of thing that you can use to impress your family and friends at dinner when there's no good conversation left. Just,
Exactly.
thank us later.
Or thank us now. Your choice. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Micah, for your concern, but I guess they got it under control, apparently. Item E, news. It looks like a C-130 seaplane is finally happening, and this is from The Drive. Now, I don't know about you. These are artist renderings, and I guess we're going to have to share this again.
What's going on there?
I'm reading this from The Drive, .com. I'm thinking to myself, is this like The Onion, an article from like a satire magazine?
Did they draw water on the undersurface of the airplane?
Well, so these are just artist renderings of idea. Okay, well, let me set this up. Air Force Special Operations Command says it needs an MC-130J on floats, and it looks like it has a plan to get it. Now, you can see that picture there. I'm thinking that I know it's just an artist rendering. It's not an actual photo because they haven't actually created this thing yet. But seeing a C-130 on these huge floats that look like floats you'd put on like a J3 Cub or something like an amphibious float. So they have both floats for landing and taking off in water, but also wheels that can come out so you can actually operate this on land. And I'm thinking, I don't know that looks like it would work. But anyway, back in May, we reported on the fact that U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command, AFSOC, really wanted to, or is that AFSOC? I bet that's the way they say that. Really wanted to make the long-standing dream of a C-130 seaplane a reality. In fact, the so-called MC-130J Amphibious Capability, or MAC, was listed as one of its new procurement priorities. While we had a grainy little rendering of what this could look like when we filed that report, as well as other historical design concepts, we now have a far better look at exactly what they want. And yes, it's a C-130 on floats. Actually, they have put forward a number of similar float plane concepts, some more traditional looking, while others are more streamlined, conformal, and futuristic looking. The capability appears to include the requirement for amphibious operations. In other words, the MC-130 can still land on a runway with the floats fitted. Anyway, the article goes on to talk about the capabilities of the 130 and everything else. Here's a picture of it on the floats in the water. What do you think, Nick? Does that look like something?
Well, it looks like they've landed on a couple of blue whales. Honestly, they're huge. I mean, I can see them working. Why not? They're the full length of fuselage, and they're wide enough space to give good stability. But they're just vast. I can't imagine. I mean, the Herc isn't a fast airplane at the best of times. with those two damn great things strapped under it, I can imagine it'll just crawl along. So, I mean, and what's this amazing ability that they have been waiting so long for? I'm trying to work out why it's so important for them to have this particular type of aircraft. What role will it perform? I mean, it's a bit beyond me, but there you go. I'm sure it will actually work. It just won't be very practical.
I love this one here. It's translucent version of a C-130.
That's neat. I like that one. Yeah, that's the new camouflage. They haven't quite got it right yet, but eventually it'll match all the surrounding area, so it'll just blend in.
I guess. I don't know. Not even really sure what we're looking at there. But anyway, what do you think, Steph? You think this is like a joke, or is this real, or what?
I have no idea. Do they really need that?
It just looks really funny to me. But apparently they
just
do.
Artist rendering
at
the moment.
True.
I just was confused as to why they drew, why they painted.
Oh, on this first
bottom,
one?
Like they're painting the water line on it or something.
I don't know.
But it doesn't sit that far in the water. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't know. To be continued. Another one of those things where you kind of go, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. All right. Next up, let's head over on the other side of the big pond. This is from express.co.uk. The Red Arrows say, UK firm to win deal to replace aging jets. UK firm Aeralis is almost certain to win a contract to replace the Red Arrow's aging jets, sources said last night. The RAF's elite aerobatic display team have been using the Hawk T1 Hawk for more than 40 years to fly the British flag in almost 5,000 public displays at home and abroad. But concerns about safety have pressured defense chiefs to accelerate its replacement, previously marked for 2030, and a decision is expected to be announced before Christmas. It follows more than 15 years of lobbying by the R.A.F., with investment-hungry Army and Royal Navy chiefs successfully arguing that equipment for frontline operations such as armored vehicles and Helmand remain a priority. What's that? What's Helmand? Is that a region?
Nick?
Helmand, the Helmand province.
Pay attention. Oh, okay.
Isn't that part of Afghanistan?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
I don't know.
All right. Now, just 3 weeks after the last British... look at that. Since the last British soldier left Afghanistan, the decision has been made to fund 12 new aircraft, 9 for the team and 3 operational spares. Behind its dazzling displays, the Red Arrows, based at R.A.F. Scranton, shows...
Scampton?
I'm sorry,
Scranton.
Scranton. R.A.F.
Scranton,
PA.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
It's like where they film The Office. Showcases British industry, and this combined with the government's global British aspirations means the new plane must be UK built. Sources say the RAF has its sights on Aeralis, which has already designed the first British jet fighter since the 70s and has been awarded a 3-year research and development contract with the RAF. Last night, an RAF source said the Red Arrows promote British industry and the plane needs to be made in the UK. Aeralis will design, develop, and deliver the Hawk T1 replacement. Though officially the order date has been being played down, given that it will take at least 5 years or longer before the plane is in operational service, there is an acute awareness that the decision has to be made soon. And then now here's a different spelling of the company, Aureoles. I think that's a...
What?
I don't think that's right. You see that paragraph there?
Aureoles.
Aureoles. But everywhere else it's written Aeralis. I think that's a typo. Where are these editors? They're just not catching these things. It's producing 5 variants, the first of which has completed Phase 1, and Phase 2 development is due to fly in 2024. The unique modular system means that each variant will share a common core fuselage and avionics, but everything else, from the tail to the wings and engines, can be customized to suit the client. The firm has received funding from the RAF's Rapid Capabilities Office, also leading work on Britain's new Tempest Future Combat Air System, FCAS. And RCO Chief Air Commodore Jez Holmes said that the Aerialis concept offers an extremely disruptive approach to design, modeling, and certification processes in military aircraft. So, have you ever heard of this company, Nick? Aerialis?
No, I knew nothing about this until I saw this. I didn't think it was so pressing to replace the Hawks. Now, I can understand them wanting to replace the Hawk T1. Geez, that was, coming into service when I was going through my flying training as a student. And both Nigel and I, as we talked about on Plane Tales recently, we were instructing on them in the early 80s, so they're pretty long in the tooth. But since then, of course, British Aerospace has continued to develop the Hawk and the Hawk 100 series. In fact, the series that the Air Force bought was the Hawk 128, which the R.A.F. calls the Hawk T Mark II, has been around for about I'm trying to think 2000, somewhere around there. So it's not that old, and I thought if the Reds wanted to change, they could probably move on to those. So as a basic airframe. But it appears like they're looking for the next complete generation of trainer, and traditionally the Red Arrows have always flown the advanced jet trainer, be it the Nat or the Hawk. So yeah, it's a very odd looking aeroplane. It is.
It looks kind of boxy-ish.
Aerialis. Yeah, it looks. I hate to say it, really ugly. It looks incredibly fat fuselage, or deep fuselage. Strangely placed wing. I can't quite work that out. Incredibly short and stubby. Perhaps your modular design allows you to put another 10 feet in the fuselage length, which will make it look a bit nicer. But and it's kind of sloopy nosed.
That little jet, the little experimental jet, the BD-5 or whatever.
Oh,
do you remember
yeah.
that little,
That's very good. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. But it's got two tiny Air Force pilots stuck in it.
Yeah. They're very small people.
Yeah, they're going to change the recruitment. They're going to get 4-foot pilots from now on.
Mm-hmm.
The Munchkins.
Greater than 5'1".
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I hope the Reds gonna get a voice in this, because if they're going to be made to fly those, I think they'll be looking. Oh my Lord, it will be the joke of the display circuit.
They'll fly something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
hopefully they're just very highly maneuverable and can do all kinds of interesting displays.
Well, with any luck, their vertical takeoff, and that'll look really impressive as a 9 ship gets airborne vertically.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
They're not. Just kidding.
It'll be one of the modules. Plug in the vertical takeoff module, blogs. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And all they can do is take off vertically, hover, and come back down.
Oh, you wanted to go
I forgot the
forward.
Well, that's forward module.
That's a different module.
They can only have one module at a time. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
we'll see. Don't worry, I'll probably be dead by then, so that's fine.
Me too. I'll drink to that. Yeah.
Yep. Cheers.
More this way.
Oh.
Cheers.
All right.
No, it's over. Your camera's over there.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I keep thinking that the camera's right there. I should have move this thing so I don't keep looking at it. There we go. All right. Well, finally, we have this last item in the news folder. All right. Now, you may wonder a lot, actually.
Did you know, more trivia?
Yeah.
This is my favorite karaoke song to sing.
I did, because she told me that what, 15 minutes ago?
I think I did.
Half an hour ago, whatever, before we started the show.
And she's now going to sing it.
It will be on my new album. Tequila.
Tequila.
Very good.
All right.
Got it. Yes.
So the reason why I'm playing that is that this article from the Wall Street Journal, tequila bottles were found on the new Boeing Air Force One jet in development. Company has faced problems of factory, well, we say debris, and you call it...
I would say debris.
And you say, Nick, how do you say that?
Debris.
Debris? Found in... Okay.
Debris. Factory debris.
Yeah, one of those. Potato. Debris found in commercial military aircraft in recent years. 2 empty liquor bottles were found this month on one of Boeing Company's new Air Force One planes under development in San Antonio. People familiar with the matter said. The discovery of they're miniature bottles.
Yeah, I love this. All the title, you're thinking 2 damn great big liter bottles of tequila have been discovered. No, they're 2 miniatures.
That's what Steph's dreaming of over there, I think.
I hate tequila.
You do? Oh, that's sad. I love tequila. And that's your favorite?
It's my favorite karaoke song. Doesn't mean it's my favorite drink.
Well, we'll have to change
I think
that.
tequila shots have their moment in life. I think it's very appropriate to suck
I can
your
actually use a
lemons
couple
and
right now.
lick your salty stuff, and then
family show.
Try and disguise
Tough
the
guy
taste
shots.
of the filthy liquor that you're about to consume.
Squirt the lime in your eye, snort the salt, and then drink your tequila.
I think that's
how
Steph's
it goes,
had a
right?
bad experience with this whole thing.
Who? What? Me? Never.
Yeah. Yeah, she
true.
has been scarred.
No more
Liz.
tequila for Steph.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. The discovery of miniature bottles of tequila on one of future U.S. presidential jets under investigation by the company, those people said.
Those people.
Or these people.
The people who are familiar with the matter. Those people.
It couldn't be determined where on the plane the bottles were discovered. Okay.
So it could have been in the
What
bar.
kind of news story is this?
This
could have been.
This whole thing is kind of falling apart now that we're reading it.
Yeah.
Ooh, tequila on an airplane. Okay.
I'm the one that suggested it, Liz. But I couldn't read. I didn't. They only given like a snippet of the article because I don't have a Wall Street Journal. Yeah, but I don't have a Wall Street Journal account. And so I was on the train this morning and I saw this and I texted Liz and I said, "You have a Wall Street Journal account, right?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, here, take a look at this." And I said, "I can play that tequila song."
That's the only reason we've got this piece of news.
Yes.
It is.
That's the actual reason.
Excellent.
That is honestly.
Okay.
It's true.
Liz, tell him it's time to move on.
It's I think better than any other reason. I think.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. I think we should move on then. Liz is saying, okay, let's cut this. Let's pull the plug on the news. It's been a disaster.
What? It's been great.
And I think
Hasn't
now,
been that good.
Good to have you back, Nick.
There's a big delay
Getting
today.
to know
you
us. I know. I've noticed that. Huh.
We're really not trying to talk all over you. It just happens that way because we can't tell when you're talking.
I think, yeah, the internet here apparently is causing
Not
the
great.
problem. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anywho, getting to know us is that segment of the show where we get together and talk about what we've been doing since the last episode. And I'm going to cut over to Steph's camera, and she's going to tell us everything that she's been doing since, Tuesday of last week.
Last week. I
Yeah.
feel like I should pull a calendar up.
Probably should.
Yes, I should. Well, let me think. So, I don't think I did much of anything during the week. I worked. Yes, that was quite boring. Celebrated a friend's birthday on Friday evening. It was quite nice outside, so we spent some time eating pizza outdoors and having a few celebratory beers. And then Saturday started off the day bright and early with the Drop Zone was hosting a kind of impromptu Sisters in Skydiving event. So I agreed to be on that first jump with a couple of other ladies, new women jumping at our drop zone. So that was a lot of fun to do and share with them. And then we ended up flying a whole bunch on Saturday. Weather was not great yesterday. Lots of low cloud cover and broken ceilings, kind of low-ish. But cleared up a little bit in the afternoon. So we brought out the 182 and we let the fun jumpers do some lower level hop and pop jumps from about 6,000 MSL.
Hop and pop.
Hop and pops. I did 2 hop and pops. That was fun. A 4-way hop and pop. That was interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I flew the last 2 loads, and
all I
now
heard
it's
was
Monday, and
4-way.
I'm here. 4-way.
I know.
Yes.
That got my attention.
4-way. 4-way hop and pop. Well, not really so much a hop and pop. We got out at 6,000, so we had some time to mess around for about, 10 seconds or so, and then get out of each
you
other's
can only
way.
mess around for 10 seconds?
Yeah, that's a
You
pretty
know, you
short
gotta be.
4-way.
It was quality though. It was very quality. High quality 10 seconds. Not 4-way.
Cool.
That's what I always say, but they never buy it.
A little bit tricky. It's all about how you get started.
It's a quality 10 seconds. I have no idea. Are we still talking about skydiving?
Yes.
Okay.
Nope.
Good.
Yes. I was. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't either.
Yeah. But yeah, it was overall a really nice weekend. Just back to the grind this week. A couple more weeks of lots of work and then lots of running to follow after that. So stay tuned.
Excellent. How's the running going?
Haven't done nearly enough. but
Forwards,
we'll,
I hope.
Forwards, not backwards.
What day is it? It's the 20th?
Today is the 20th of September.
You better. Yeah.
I should. Well,
Yeah.
at this point, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
What's been done is done, and hopefully my feet will get me through all the distance.
I'm sure they will. All right. Anything else?
I mean, that was
meetups or anything?
That was a pretty. What's that?
Any meetups or anything like that?
Meetups? Anything? No.
No.
Not with anyone that anyone here would know. So no APG community things.
Okay. Very good. Nick, we missed you on the last show. You were on holiday in Cornhole. And
Cornhole.
I think that's how it's pronounced.
I heard that.
Cornhole.
I think the people in Cornhole will be very upset with you right now.
No, the people in Cornhole won't. The people in Cornwall, maybe. They might be.
Yeah, they're thinking of renaming Cornwall to Paywall.
Anyway, so yeah, it was nice for you to have sent the recording from Cornwall, and that we enjoyed that. And you're back now. So how long have you been back in Liz?
Not that long. We got back sort of Friday, so just had the weekend at home, and I was supposed to be doing a dog shoot on Sunday, but the weather turned against me. But I haven't had time to do much other than prep for today's interview, which I did. I'll come on to that in a second. So the first thing I just want to mention is that the meetup for next Saturday, the 25th of September, is still on. The weather looks like it'll be reasonable, sunny intervals, hopefully no rain, so fingers crossed for that. Just a reminder, I'll be there at the Hangar Cafe, Fair Oaks Airport, between 10 and 2, and all being well, I'm going to first of all invite the young lady called Grace, who now does the job that I was doing some 47 years ago or whatever it was, back in the early 70s. She's doing the exact same job that I was doing, basically working at the flying school as a general dogs buddy, and she's going to talk to us all about the flying school and about the airport for a little bit, and then I'm going to relate basically a off-the-cuff plain tale about the things that happened during the short time I was at this airport, some of which quite dramatic. So some accidents involving other people and a very near accident involving me. So that's just going to occupy about half an hour, perhaps 45 minutes, starting at 12. I will warn everybody or anybody who's coming that the airport doesn't have a huge number of facilities. So the cafe is quite small, the viewing area is quite small. So it's not perhaps an ideal place to come and spend the day, but if you want to come and chat to fellow APGers, it's going to be lovely to see everyone there and have a bit of a yak, and you'll be able to grab an all-day breakfast or something just to give yourself something.
I like all days
if you want. Yeah, I know, it's good. The cafe is quite small, so just be prepared for that. I've actually asked the flying school to see if they can block off a few parking spaces so we've got room for everybody, because I think we're going to be a bit short of space. But anyway, that's that. It'll be what it is. So just look, enjoy it as best you can. Now, today I just mentioned I did an interview. It was partly for PT UK and also for my own benefit, because I wanted to have an interview for Plain Tales, and very kindly our fine friend Neville Bounds came all the way down. He had to drive quite a long way because the airfield is sort of near Stonehenge, and it's a good 3.5-4 hour drive for him there and another 4 hours back. But he came and set up all his cameras, and I interviewed a lovely chap called Mike Wildman, who has had a fascinating career in aviation, and his life, in fact, has been quite fascinating. He's had several near-death experiences, and he told us all about that. And he's also suffered, in addition to that, a life-changing operation subsequently, which kind of led him into what he is currently doing, which is he was certainly in 2019 the leader of the world's only disabled flying formation team. And he tells us all about that, which is quite remarkable. The three guys who did that, two of them amputees, one of them more or less paraplegic, and how they managed to do that. Anyway, he's moved on now, and he and his wingman are now flying the Yak 50 and possibly Yak 52. One's a two-seater and one's single-seater. These sort of 50s design Soviet trainers, but very sturdy, very powerful, fully aerobatic, sort of +7, -5, something absolutely ridiculous. And he uses the aircraft at this airfield called Henstridge near Stonehenge, and he is going to, hopefully with enough sponsorship, form a formation team with just the two of them, these two amputees, and they're going to be able to do full aerobatics in formation, which is going to be fantastic. So fingers crossed that he gets enough sponsorship to do that. Certainly at the moment, if you're going to RIAT, the International Air Tattoo, next year, you will see on the Friday his formation team, all being well, because that's one of the places they're booked next year. And I think it's a remarkable tribute and a great proof that regardless of your disability, there is an enormous amount you can achieve, and he's living proof of that. So quite incredible. I'm going to possibly get one or two plain tales by cherry picking the best bits out of this interview, but the full interview, and of course beautifully videotaped by Neville, will be on PT UK in the months ahead. And I think we've got a little snip of that video, Liz. So many thanks for giving us your time.
Thanks, Nick. It's lovely to see you again, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you today.
Excellent. Mike, look, I'm going to take you right back to the beginning, if I may, and we can work through your fascinating life. Tell us about your family. So there you go. There's Mike, and there's the airplane. We're on the airfield. The ambient noises. It was really brilliant, and I promise you, his story is quite incredible. A remarkable man. I was very lucky to fly with him many times in Virgin Atlantic, and he rose to become a captain of A340s and A330s. Later on this week, I'll also be appearing on Ant Pruitt's show. Now, he's a fantastic friend and a listener of APG. Ant Pruitt, amongst many things, is a podcaster and videographer with Twit, This Week in Technology. They have several channels, sort of Twit TV, it's called. And I believe he's in This Week in Google. But the one he does on his own is called Hands-On Photography. And being a photographer, I've always taken a great interest in that show. And very professional, very nice, and is a brilliant photographer. And he knows an awful lot about photography. That's super. And he very kindly asked me to come on to the show and talk about dog photography. So I'm going to be doing that later on this week. And then sort of a few weeks in the future, that show will go out. So looking forward to doing that. Ant's just a super guy, terribly enthusiastic, and it'll be an absolute pleasure chatting to him. So look out for that show. In fact, look out for all his shows. They're only relatively short segments, usually like 15 minutes, sometimes stretching a little bit more than that. But look for that at twit.tv, and you can follow the links there, or just go twit.tv/shows/hands-on-photography, and you'll find that all very exciting. Looking forward to doing that.
Well, we'll certainly have a link to Ant's show in the show notes, so people don't have to remember all that URL gobbledygook that you just...
well, that's usually what I say, gobbledygook. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anywho, Ant, great guy. And he's a huge Clemson University fan.
He is. Clemson Tigers.
Yeah,
is
Clemson
he?
Tigers.
I haven't heard the This Week in Gobbledygook show, but is there one? I don't know.
I think so. If not, there should be.
Yes, that's the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I met Ant very close to here, like just down the street with Tanya one time.
I thought we had you all perfectly framed
Are
up.
you being photographed by a drone or what?
Yeah, I'm trying.
You know who needs help with his photography skills? Ant. Send help.
Come and help.
Just trying some hands-on photography here, and it's not
on the
going
fly
well.
videography here is what I'm trying.
Yeah, fly on the wall is what it looks like.
Well, I had it all. It was perfectly framed, and then Steph had to move her position.
Oh,
see,
right.
when we were back.
I know, but my microphone's way.
Yeah, I didn't consider that.
Here.
So hey, look. Yeah. All right.
We'll fix it later.
We'll fix it in post. Actually, the video will not be fixed in post.
No.
It's
In
what
fact,
you see
if you
is what
fix
you
it
get.
to a post, that might be better.
Anywho, oh boy, hey, look! You want to take a look at our ceiling here in the room?
It's popcorn
nice?
ceiling.
Look at that, very nice. All right.
You just need a slightly wider angle, or sit closer together.
I know. Well, I had it. I can actually move out a little bit. Oop, that's not what I want. Hang on. Was it this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope. Damn it. This one?
Must be.
Yeah. Okay. Nope. Wait a minute. This is great.
Yay!
Hey, look at that. Okay.
This is great audio, I'll tell you that.
And what's funny about it is that you can't see any of what I'm doing.
Oh, well done. That's
that's
perfect. What's wrong with that?
There we go. Okay. Good. Okay. Don't move. Can I talk? Don't talk. All right. So there we go. Great. Well, I'm so happy, and that's cool that you're going to be on Ant's show. And that little teaser there of that interview that you were doing with, what'd you say his name was, Mike?
Yeah,
Is it
Mike
possible that you
Wildman.
could have actually had a shorter tease than that?
I could have done,
Anyway.
yeah, but it wouldn't have meant, yeah. I could have done. I could have not had a tease at all if you want.
No, it was great. Thank you very much. Good stuff. Good stuff. And can't wait to hear about this meetup in Fair Oaks this coming Saturday. That sounds exciting. I'm sure that you'll be talking about it on our next episode.
Yeah, if
And
the
hopefully-
plane tail's any good, I will record it and put it out as a plane tail. We'll see how it goes.
Good. It'll be good to see you put out. All right. Let's move on to... Oh, I guess I should
Please.
say a little something. Yeah, a little something. Yeah, the latency is really, really bad today. I apologize. I apologize, but I don't know what for what, but because I have no control over this. But, all right, let's see. Evernote, that's what I'm looking for, my notes. So I mentioned earlier, one of the news sources that we use for aviation news quite a bit is Simon Radke's aviationherald.com.
Do we actually know how to pronounce his last name?
Well, that's the way I'm pronouncing it. You told me, Jeff, you need to pronounce things with confidence, like you know.
That's fine. Fair enough. Carry on.
But I don't know. I'm not sure if it's it's weird. It's HRAD. Yeah, Radecki. I have no idea. We should probably get Simon to
tell us
how to pronounce his name. Anyway, he had a little note in the Aviation Herald on the 14th of September, and he said, last Tuesday, September 7th, I was scheduled to take a precautionary medical check and undergo ultrasound examination, sonography. While the doctor was still handling the ultrasound head, he remarked, quote, well, you got a football in your belly.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, no. I have to say, I never knew I had shot off my mouth that large that I could have swallowed a whole football, nor did I have any clue how a football would be able to enter my belly. Seeing my shocked look on my face, the doctor quickly turned around and told me, nothing to worry, it's just a benign giant cyst, diameter 19 centimeters. Absolutely nothing appears malignant. The doctor couldn't determine with certainty where the cyst would attach to and therefore recommended to conduct a CT. My house practitioner followed that recommendation when I was able to get a hold of him on Thursday and issued a referral to a CT institute. I managed to get an appointment. They confirmed the size and determined the cyst was sitting on the top of the right-hand kidney. It ruled out a lot of other options, such as, and as such was rather good, and also determined there's nothing malignant with that cyst. So anyway, he did some further testing and such, and he is scheduled to have the cyst removed entirely because they deemed that draining the cyst was insufficient and monitoring it was not a real option. And so this laparoscopic
It's all right. I was
surgery.
just going to let him work it out, Liz.
I know. Thank you. You're just letting me dangle.
Well, we would have floundered and drowned while we were waiting. Steph, I thought that was keyhole surgery. How do you get a football through a keyhole?
A very large keyhole.
It's like, when they build those ships in bottles. I think it's a similar process.
Just like that. How do they do that?
They tie lots of bit of cotton to it. And, yeah, okay. I'll
Yeah,
take your word for
I
it.
don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very
laparoscopic surgery
that's way too.
It's now estimated to take place in 4 to 6 weeks and will keep me in the hospital for 5 days.
Oh, wow.
So basically, the reason why we wanted to mention this is because we love you, Simon. We love your site, and it's such a great source of information for our show and others. And we hope that this goes well, and we're positive it will. We're confident that it will. But we'll be thinking about you here
Absolutely.
at the Airline Pilot Guy podcast.
Get well soon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. And
good luck.
Just oh shoot. We're frozen, right?
What's that? Morse
No,
code?
now we're back.
No, you're back. You're good.
Did you hear any kind of sound associated?
That little beep.
When my iPhone that I'm using as
buzz.
a camera was ringing?
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
So, like I never get calls from anybody. But, I mentioned maybe before we started recording the show that my trip this week is... No, we didn't. We're actually recording this show, and I think when we were talking about...
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a call from Acme Airlines. I think somebody has finally figured out
they need to figure out what to do with you.
Yeah.
when you go to New Orleans.
So I have a feeling now that my trip has changed a bit. We'll find out after we finish the show. Anywho, so we wanted to remind everyone that there is a meetup in Fargo, North Dakota. Let's see, and it's still scheduled for October 9th, Saturday, October 9th at 12 p.m. And if you want information about where it's going to be, I'll tell you, it's at the Fargo Airport at the Jet Center. I believe that's what they called it. Yeah, Fargo Jet Center. And they're going to go and eat lunch at a place called the Shack on Broadway. They may actually have time to head over to the Fargo Air Museum as well. So if you want to learn more about that, please contact Kelly Kirk on Slack or send an email to feedback@airlinepilotguy.com, and then we'll connect you with Kelly and you can get all the details. So there you go. Just wanted to mention that again. And also, I don't think I made an overlay of this, so I'm going to double click in. I'm going to share it with everybody because we're going to talk about the artwork for the last episode. And I am so happy that Nick was able to do this because I thought I was going to have to do the artwork for that episode. Yes. Okay, we're gonna credit Glenn Towler for the idea for the title of the last episode, which was Underwater Wing Walker, and Nick did a beautiful job of illustrating.
The puffer fish inside of the other.
Yes, portraying this whole thing, and the puffer fish with a inside of the is that like a piranha? Piranha, like a big giant piranha, and then a puffer's fish.
He's like in jail there. Like,
did you notice my helmet right here?
I did.
Yeah, it's
yes.
very nice.
It's clever.
The nice orange skydiver.
It's a strangely coloured helmet.
Yeah, it's more of a scuba.
Yeah, and I love that picture of Steph on the top wing.
Yeah, I modelled it on her.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
the bits of it anyway.
very clever.
Other bits I had to use my imagination.
Ah, okay. Well, a mermaid
Do you
on
like
top
the
of
shark?
the top wing. Ah, the shark is very nice. Yes. Is there something significant that I'm missing regarding that?
He's gonna.
Oh, he's
Bite
about
your
to.
head
Oh,
off.
I get it. He's about to bite my head off. I did not notice that until you just pointed it out.
Well, that's because he's behind
Was
you.
there a Slack discussion regarding the? Was there a Slack discussion regarding the episode title?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Either.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hold boxes. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're slackers on Slack.
Oh, I was wondering why you were asking.
I was just given the
Pay
title.
attention to the chat room.
Ah, yeah. Well, anyway,
Did
very
anyone
nice
know
job.
what type of airplane that was?
A biplane.
Yeah, it's a blue biplane.
It's underwater.
Underwater blue biplane with Fly Acme on it. What is it?
I think
don't know.
it's a Sopwith Camel, but I would say yes. I All Boxes thinks it's a sop with camel as well.
It's a sopping wet camel. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Well, did you get the hump?
Well, it's kind of a personal question.
Well, if you get the right camel, you get 2 humps.
Oh, okay.
Depends on the type of camel.
Where did we go wrong? Okay.
I don't know, but it was a long ways back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all started when you tried to start the show early.
I was going to say, why don't we just stop and like just restart the show from the beginning?
Coffee fund.
Coffee fund. Okay, here we go. Yay. Oh, what a
Johnny,
train
how
wreck.
much more coffee? No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
All right, that's Jeff Smith singing the APG version of the Java Jive, which is what we like to play when we talk about our wonderful folks who contribute to the show financially. A couple of different ways to do that. One, we call the Coffee Fund Classic method via PayPal, basically, for a one-time, one-off donation or recurring donation. Several people do that. Since the last episode, we have Jenny Parkinson in Rome. She has a recurring donation. And Chris Randall, recurring as well. And David Lieb, up there in Massachusetts. Another recurring contribution there. So if you want to check that out, head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. Also, another way to be a financial supporter is to become a patron of the show via patreon.com. And since the last episode, no new patrons. So if you want to learn, again, more about how you can be part of the Coffee Fund cadre, the Coffee Bar Fund, please head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did, and we will too.
Captain, incoming message.
Break time?
If you need.
Actually, I think I'm okay. You okay?
I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Nick, you okay?
I'm okay.
Nick already took his break? Okay.
What?
I'm hearing a
high-pitched
little interference.
Can you guys stop hearing me again? Hello, hello?
No.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just I replied twice
heard you.
and it didn't sound like it went in.
Oh, I did not hear that, actually.
No, I don't think I heard you either.
Did you hear it, Liz?
All right, as long as you hear me now, that's fine.
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm just hearing like a little bit of interference on...
I'm getting a faint
end.
crackle, yes. Wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's like, where did that come from? Oh, it's probably something to do with this phone. I bet. Here, let me do this.
Try putting it to airplane mode. Oh, that went. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good.
I think it's the power going into the phone. Now, the problem with this idea of unplugging the power is I'm not sure how long the phone will be powered before it dies.
Can you see what the power is there real quick? Should I
Yeah, let me take a
Hold
look.
on, I'll just...
It should be... Hang on.
No, you'll have to...
There's something on here that shows it, like right there, that green
yeah,
battery.
you're good then.
Right now, I know, but how do we kind of keep track of
I don't know.
that?
When Liz tells us it's an hour and a half in, we'll just take a look again.
Okay.
Well, it's like on the Garmin 430, how you can schedule messages and reminders. We need that on the...
Or, you know what we could do? A little bit clunky. We could do this. I think
that's the
maybe
one I was looking for.
that app. Top one, I think.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, shoot.
Why is Steph shying away like it's about to explode?
Because you can't see what I can see here.
I just selected the opposite one.
Top one.
Yay! Whatever.
Oh, it says it right there.
Yeah. So we'll just leave that one up, and then we'll just use. We'll have to look down.
We'll just
here.
leave it in the background, yeah. Then you can just slide it.
Well, the problem is
to
to use this as another screen. It's like that or.
I find that honestly a little distracting because it moves so jumpy.
Yeah.
And
Okay, let's just do this then. Oh. And I'll click on that and that. What?
Oh, I wanted to use one of the bumpers.
Oh.
That's all.
Okay. No.
How do I play it?
Oh, this one's not a good one.
Oh, it's not a good one?
No.
Never mind then.
It's like from the movie, the Spielberg movie, and it's just,
Okay.
not good.
Never mind.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes, it is a train wreck, though. That's what she's trying to play a sound effect that has a train wreck in it. Because that's what this show is right now, a train wreck. Okay. Okay, Liz.
Shut up, Liz.
She's so hurtful. Okay. I think we should move on to feedback.
I think so, too.
All right. This is from Greg.
Did you play the feedback bumper?
Yep.
Nope.
Sorry.
I did, too. Thank you, Liz.
I thought he did, but then I had like a weird deja vu moment where maybe he didn't.
I played it in other shows, too.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You can always put it back in post.
I was just double checking, that's all.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's start with Greg. He says, the way I heard it with Mike Rowe, the pilot and the passenger. Oh, look at that. There's our big-ass fan, Greg Peterson. Of course, he works for the Big Ass Fan Company. And there is a photo. Remember that, Nick, about 2 years ago?
Ah, look at that. Welcome.
Stopped in Lexington at the Big Ass Fan Company. Yeah. That was great. That's Greg Peterson over there. Anyway. Hey crew, when I heard Captain Nick's plane tale from episode 486, artists, I guess, I thought it sounded familiar. Turns out that Mike Rowe, the guy from Dirty Jobs, had done the same story on an episode of his The Way I Heard It podcast. I have full confidence that Captain Nick did his own research, and the stories are remarkably similar. So now I've heard it from 2 independent sources, so the story must be true. Well done, as always, Nick. And he's, of course, referring to the Charlton Heston, right? No, not Charlton Heston.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood story about the hitching the ride and the crash into the ocean. And yeah, pretty amazing. I think, though, Greg seems to be inferring, Nick, that you stole
plagiarized.
This. Yeah, plagiarized it from Mike Rowe's podcast.
I don't think so. Mike Rose has a sort of a caveat to his stories, like it's how I heard it, which sort of removes any necessity for him to follow the facts. So he was able to dramatize a large proportion of his story as if anyone knew what they were saying on the aircraft. So I found from various sources a more basic description of what went on, which I think is fairly well backed up. And I didn't even know he'd done it. And actually, when I listened to it, I was going, well, that's a bit naff, actually, because, it doesn't sound like... I shouldn't say that.
So, Mike Rowe, if you're listening...
Yeah, you should never badmouth someone else's podcast, should you? Because
right into I'm offended, Captain Nick.
Exactly right.
I have a feeling that Mike Rowe is not listening to the show.
Nah, exactly.
Well, I heard he's a huge fan.
I thought his effort was okay, but I don't think it was written by an aviator. He read it off a script, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think he wrote it himself. I don't know. I might be wrong in that. So there you go. All I can say is that, I use the best information I can get for all these stories, and I do my utmost to corroborate the facts that I receive, and I try not to go into dramatization. I try and stick to the facts. But there you go.
So what I'm hearing here is Nick's version of the story is much more factual,
accurate,
and
yes.
accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, I think it sticks closer to the generally agreed story that has been published by many different outlets.
We get it. Yours is great, and his was rubbish.
I didn't say that. Right. Certainly didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
That's the way we heard it.
Yeah. The way we heard it. Very good, Steph.
Well, your ears need cleaning out. Dr. Steph, have you got a ear syringe handy?
No. Why would I have that?
Well, I know, because Jeff's ears need syringing.
Yeah.
That's what he heard.
Yes, Liz? Liz is trying to say something. What? Okay. She is suggesting that we go 9, 10, and 12. Because they are pieces of feedback that you would be good to have here when we played it, Nick. And then that way, if you're feeling a bit tired, then you can head off to Dreamland.
That sounds good. I would like to go before midnight, if that's all right. I had a busy day.
Very good, very good. So let's move then to item number 9. And this is from CFI John. This is Captain Nick. Love the plane tales, especially the ones about specific aircraft you did, such as... Why is there a comma there? Okay.
That is not supposed to be a comma there.
All right, here, let me try this again. Love the plane tales, especially the ones about specific aircraft you did, such as the B-58 Hustler and B-36 Peacemakers. When I was just visiting the U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton last week, I remember that you'd done the plane tales about them and had to go back and find the ones I could recall and re-listen. And then he had to go back and find the ones that he could recall and re-listen to those plane tales about those airplanes while actually looking at and walking through and around the displays. It completely brought the exhibit alive with the stories you told while actually seeing them in person. Keep up the great work. This is CFI John from Oregon.
What a nice bloke.
And he said, sorry, Captain Jeff, I missed being able to meet up in Dayton by a day. Oh, yeah, I was in Dayton a couple of weeks ago. Met up with Paul Verhagen. Yes, go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was just going to say, CFI John is now my favorite human being in the world. Much nicer than you two. And I wrote to him saying that...
We love you, Nick.
Actually... Well, after I'd written all of these tales, it was then an absolute delight to go around the museum and see these aircraft in the flesh. I found it an absolute joy. So I think I got as much from that experience as perhaps you did from doing it as a listener. So I thank you very much indeed for your very kind comments. In addition, of course, they had the lifting body X aircraft, so the flying Flatiron, the flying Potato, and all those there as well. And that again was another series of aircraft that I had talked about, and I just was amazed to see these actual aircraft in the flesh. It was absolutely brilliant. So it is a fabulous museum. We had a wonderful time there, Jeff, didn't we? Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes. Great time. And driving up
Indeed.
to the museum, it was fun too. It was a great trip. All right, item number 10, feedback from Henry. My daughter and son-in-law were worried when they saw 2 fighters escorting what they thought was a passenger plane over
Natick.
Natick, thank you.
Yep, I'll be there in a couple weeks.
Massachusetts. Oh. Well, will you?
Boston Marathon course goes through the town of Natick.
Okay. That must be close to Boston then.
It's relatively close. It's early on in the course,
Why
though.
isn't it Natick?
Actually, no, I take that back. It's like mile 9, I think, is Natick.
Yes, sir.
I don't make the rules, Nick. That's just how it's pronounced. Unless someone from there wants to write in.
But you're saying Natick.
Sure that's right.
No, Natick.
Natick.
But it's Natick.
Oh,
No,
Natick.
it's
Okay.
Natick.
Yeah, it's
no, the T is not so harsh.
Yeah,
Natick.
it's a soft
Well, you
T.
make it sound like a D.
Yes.
We do. And on Sunday, the 12th of September, and then so getting back to this, so his daughter and son-in-law were worried when they saw the fighters escorting what appeared to be an airliner, and then he said, "I thought maybe a VIP." Then when they saw it several times, I thought maybe part of an air show at Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire that was going on. And he says, "But no, football." And there's a picture here. I probably should share that as well so everybody can see what we're talking about here. And it'll be very, very obvious when you see this photo that it had something to do with a football game. And at the beginning when they play the national anthem. And there you go, in Gillette Stadium, and a flyover or a fly past if you prefer. And there are a couple of F-22s flying formation with a KC-46 tanker, Boeing 767 basically, but the tanker version of that airplane. And so now I'll continue with the article. He said, then I find out one of the places that one of the planes was from R.A.F. Mildenhall in Massachusetts. What makes today's R.A.F. Mildenhall different from other U.S. Air Force bases? And he's saying, what makes it different is that they have quite a diversity of the units assigned there. And he said, U.S. Air Force Base with the name Royal in it? I was surprised until I looked further, and then he has a link to Mildenhall Air Force Base in, I think it was an Air Force website, and a lot of information about Mildenhall and the units that have served there over the past and present. And there's an article here also that I believe he linked us to from WCVB.com talking about this flyover in Boston. It says multiple people who were in the Boston suburbs on Sunday raised questions to News Center 5 after they spotted a large plane that was flanked by two fighter jets circling the area. According to the global flight tracking service, Flight Radar 24, the large plane was a Boeing KC-46A Pegasus. Pegasus? I think the Pegasus is a 737 that the Navy uses. I don't think that's right. Is the KC-40? Somebody look that up.
I will fact check us here.
KC-46A. Anyway, they say Pegasus that belongs to the U.S. Air Force. The flight path does show the plane circled the Metro West area, including Wellesley, Natick, and Framingham multiple times before taking a direct path to Foxborough. Oh, it is a Pegasus. Okay. I must be confusing it with a different name. Multiple times before taking...
Orion?
No.
It's
what's replacing the Orion, and it's a Poseidon, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't either. I should not talk about military aircraft. I have no idea.
In Foxborough, the New England Patriots are hosting the Miami Dolphins in their 2021 season opener at Gillette Stadium, and the Pegasus and the two fighter jets, F-22 Raptors, were used for a flyover during the pregame festivities in Foxborough. Okay, a photo tweeted by the Patriots appears to show the same aircraft flying over. It's aircraft, no S.
No S. That's a huge pet peeve of mine.
No, me too. Flying over Gillette Stadium before Sunday's game. But anyway, there you go. Mildenhall, what can you tell us about that, Nick?
It's an R.A.F. base. Well, and we give the United States Air Force permission to use it. And they, the prime users of it. It's commanded by a Royal Air Force officer. But it's like when you come through the gates, it's like moving into Little America because, it's all the USAF bases that are positioned here in the United Kingdom. From pretty certain they even drive on the wrong side of the road. All the vehicles are
the right side of the road, as it were.
No, they drive on the wrong side of the road. they're all.
Truly
They're all
the
American.
rapes.
There's all the American shops and fast food joints that you would expect, although they're pretty much ubiquitous throughout the world nowadays, aren't they? There's a PX there, supermarkets, and the place looks as if it were dragged straight out of, the middle America. But of course, once you leave the gates,
that, like in a negative way.
No,
I
don't mean that at all.
Okay.
I just, when he says Middle America, I think
misinterpreting
of like Oklahoma.
Okay, I was trying not to have a particular area.
I like have like a pin
The
in
middle of America.
Yes,
all right
like
then,
very literally.
America, United States, anywhere in the United States. But no, it's
Any town USA.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not even sure that there is. You'd have to ask me to look it up, but I'm almost pretty certain that British law may not even apply, so that things are dealt with on base, rather than if there's a problem with the breaking British law there, it may not even reach British court. I think it's dealt with in the American
We
legal
don't recognize
system.
your stinking laws. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a war to decide this.
Step 1 foot out of the
100 years
gate
ago.
and you're mine, sonny. Anyway, of course, it's very exciting having all those American aircraft, in our country. We love seeing them fly around. And, Mildenhall is a well-established USAF base that, we get a great deal of joy from the cooperation we get between the two air forces. It's fantastic. So we like to think that, people who come across and serve at places like Mildenhall do get off base occasionally and enjoy what England has to offer. But I know Armando, for example, he became quite familiar and moved around a lot. But I know there are people who barely set foot off base because they like what they're used to. They like the American way of life, and it's provided for them in spades on USAF bases around the world. So it's each to their own. But I think it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah. We have a discussion going on here in the live audience. Hillel was saying that something he really found disappointing about U.S. bases overseas. He couldn't even spend local currency to buy lunch. I had to go back to my hotel to get my greenback so I could make change to use the coin-op laundromat. I understand why they do it, but it's disappointing that they feel that they have to. Yeah.
I think it's just to make the servicemen feel more at home. It can be a bit dislocating being, in a foreign country, although I wouldn't really call United Kingdom that foreign, but some people still find it find it different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's really nothing foreign about you guys to us.
No.
Except you drive on the wrong side of the road.
You talk kind of funny.
Who was asking about accents? There's the accents.
There are plenty of accents in this country to get confused with, so in a lot of which I don't even understand. So don't be surprised.
Same with us over here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can barely understand what Jeff is saying. It's
What?
taking a lot of concentration on my part.
A lot of concentration.
Well,
I can understand that.
Has nothing to do with the accent. It has all to do with the fact that it's just a bunch of gobbledygook.
Oh, well, that clears things right up for me.
Perfect.
So yeah, when I was in the in military airlift command, flying the C-141, that was the base that the 141s always went to in the UK, was Mildenhall. But I never, and being so common a place to go, it's odd that I never made it into the United Kingdom when I was flying the airplane. everywhere else over there, but not the UK, which is kind of odd. But anyway,
it's a shame.
So
we might have bumped into each other.
Yeah, quite possibly. All right, and what were you saying, Liz? Number Okay. Let's do number 12. This is from Rob Legal, and he said, short and sweet. Dual engine failure in one of my favorite multis. And he said, yeah. Did you say I put some overlays in there, Liz? Oh, Nick did. Okay. Good. All right. And it also comes with a YouTube video of the incident. This is a plane crashes while trying to return to Palo Alto Airport. Strikes power lines before going down in the Baylands, I guess. Baylands?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know I cannot easily pronounce Palo Alto. I have to slow it down very much to make sure that it doesn't get...
For some reason, that's easy for me to say.
Palo Alto. It's something about the O and the A next to each other. It doesn't work quite right.
Okay, well, this is one of those vast aviation YouTube videos that kind of show a radar display. So I'm not going to... Well, I guess I could. I could play that, pop that up here. What do you think, Liz? No? No? Okay, well, I'm going to do it anyway.
That was a good try, though, Liz.
Yeah. Oh, so Nick, are you going to do the overlays while playing the video, while the video's playing?
No, that was just going to accompany some after comments.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I misunderstood what Liz was trying to tell me. Okay. Here we go. Let's play this video of this plane crash. Let me know if you hear the sound. I don't hear anything yet.
Fargo, Tequila, hold short, runway 31, number 2. So 288, make left close traffic.
Left close traffic.
I'll take the silent sound.
That's a 288, upwind to the Otter Bridge, left coast traffic.
Otter Bridge and left coast traffic 288.
Bearing 2 Delta Foxtrot, early right crosswind is approved for slower traffic at 12 o'clock and 1 mile, altitude indicates 500.
Okay, we'll turn now to Delta Foxtrot.
Charlie, sequence. Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, left base at the amphitheater.
Left base at the amphitheater.
Bearing 2 Delta Foxtrot, squawk 4230, that's 4230.
Okay, 4230.
8 Hotel Yankee is departing the area to the west, thank you.
Husky 8 Hotel Yankee, roger, and frequency change approved, altimeter 2987. Bearing 2 Delta Foxtrot, contact NorCal approach next 125.35.
2535.
This is Area 5 all the way on Zulu, contact ground, see it?
All the way on Zulu, contact ground, Area 5.
Says that 162 Delta Fox never got to contact NorCal.
Cessna 288, I'll call your base.
You call base 288.
Palo Alto Baron 162 Delta Fox. We're going to have to return to the airport. We got a little right engine problem.
Baron Delta Foxtrot, enter right downwind.
Delta Foxtrot.
Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, runway 3 on Dakota land. Correct, Dakota land, 3 Dakota. Cessna 288, make right, 360.
Right, 360, 288.
Stabay 3 Alpha Charlie, extend upwind to Otter Bridge, make right traffic.
And upwind to Otter Bridge, 3 Alpha Charlie.
3 Alpha Charlie, right traffic.
Declare an emergency. We've got loss of power on both engines. Wondering about the fuel.
Baron 2 Delta Foxtrot, your number 1, runway 31, clear to land near G113.
Okay, clear to land 31 Delta.
2 Tango Charlie, you still want me to land? You want me to go around? Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, go around, extend and upwind. Go around, extend upwind, 2 Tango Charlie. Cessna 288, base at the amphitheater.
Base amphitheater 288.
Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, follow upwind to Tabrio. We'll follow the upwind to Tabrio, 2 Tango Charlie. Wind 330 at 10.
The Baron has
disappeared.
disappeared off the radar anyway.
Chopper 9 Hotel Zulu, that aircraft looked like that aircraft just crashed and did not make it.
9 Hotel Zulu, roger.
9 Hotel Zulu, I just saw that aircraft not make it on right base.
9 Hotel Zulu, roger, we're working on it.
Andrew 9 Charlie, we're going to make a left traffic, we're overtaking the CW.
Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, make left traffic.
Left traffic, Lieutenant.
Up here in 162 Delta Foxtrot, Bell Tower. Cessna 288, base approved for runway 31, clear to land, make full stop, taxi by.
Clear land 31, 288.
Hello, Alpha Tower, this is Husky 8 Hotel Yankee. We can do a circle to find that crash aircraft if you need us to.
Andrew 9 Charlie, we can do that as well.
Husky 8 Hotel Yankee, we have aircraft closer to it that can look, thank you. Stobby 3 Alpha Charlie, advise if you have the aircraft inside.
Working 3 Charlie.
Saratoga 3 Tango Charlie, number 2, fall Cessna, mile and a half, final runway 31, code to land.
Number 2, 3 Charlie, land traffic inside, Tango Charlie.
Stobby 3 Alpha Charlie, number 3, you're following the Saratoga in the left downwind extending towards the amphitheater, runway 31, clear to land.
Number 3, 3 clear to land, left Charlie, Alpha traffic.
Great radio.
Okay, 3 Alpha Charlie, looks like we've got that aircraft inside. Can't see any movement, it looks like it's in one piece.
Stobby 3 Alpha Charlie, thank you. Baron 162 Delta Foxtrot, Delta Tower.
Tower 9 Hotel Zulu, I'm first in line here on 31 and I'd like to terminate doing pattern work. So do you want me to get on the runway and then exit off, or do you want more circuit?
Cessna 9 Hotel Zulu, hold position, and we're going to have 2 aircraft land.
Roger that, 9 Hotel Zulu.
Okay, the sole pilot on board resulted uninjured. Interesting way to say that. Yeah.
He resulted uninjured.
Yeah.
It's a good result.
I think the guy that does VAS aviation is not
English first language.
Not English is not his first language. Yeah. So he kind of hinted that he was having
maybe a fuel problem.
Yeah, maybe a fuel problem, because it seems to, at first it was just the right engine, and then it seemed to have affected both engines, and that's why he was expecting or suspecting a fuel issue. But Nick, you said you did some overlays for this that we can.
Oh, I was just going to mention out of passing that I've actually flown out of that airfield. There it is. That was that was me on finals. I wasn't flying. I was sitting behind a international man of mystery who took me on one of his missions. And there he is.
The CIA airplanes.
I'm sure you can't talk about the nature of that said mission.
No, actually, I spent most of the flight with a bag on my head, so I didn't get to see.
It's a shame. It's such pretty scenery around there too. Yeah.
Well, apparently. International Man of Mystery took me around. I mean, we landed somewhere. I heard some funny noises, 2 or 3 times, double tap. And then he ran back in and we took off very quickly. And then we came back and landed at Palo Alto. It's a surprisingly built up area with lots of cables all around. So I gather that this twin actually flew into some pretty massive power cables in his attempt to bring the aircraft down. So I'm not surprised, because there's big sets of pylons all around. It's quite a short runway as well. And not really easy to operate from, I would have thought. I certainly didn't appreciate the perspective. Looked quite difficult, and it's in a busy piece of airspace, hard to get in off, hard to get out. So it was an intriguing flight for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it with our wonderful man of mystery. Since he has his own aircraft at that airfield, I don't know if he's finally got the engine fixed, but I'd be interested to know what he knows about this incident. Perhaps he knows something more and could let us know. But having said that, International Man of Mystery now has a small child of mystery. So he's probably a bit too busy to go off and do a lot of flying nowadays.
You said that the small child is a mystery? No,
yeah, it is a small child of mystery, yes.
Of mystery.
Oh, of mystery.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Mystery in training. Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's the
International Child of Mystery would be his formal
correct
name.
Correct.
Or her formal name.
I just thought maybe you were saying or implying that how it... Never mind.
No. This is no. I think it came the normal way. I think it arrived.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, hey, here's a picture that we threw up there of one of those very tall power line towers and the lines, and you can. It's hard to see, but you can see that these some of these power lines were altered. Where the
they were no longer where they were strung up.
Flew through them, but that may have. I don't know if that helped or hurt the situation here.
I don't think it helped anything.
Probably not. Maybe
you
he would have made it.
You don't want to fly through power
no?
lines.
Okay.
No.
So I'll let me write that down. Something
take
that
notes.
I need to take note of that. Anywho, so that was an interesting. But they say that it was a sole occupant and he walked away. Uninjured, just minor injuries, I think, which is pretty amazing, actually. When you
so I'm going to hazard a guess here. Not a good thing to do, but if he lost an engine and said, "I think it's a fuel issue," could we be reasonably safe in guessing that the fuel issue was he didn't have any?
Yeah, it could be. Sorry, Jeff turned down the volume right when I tried to speak to you. That might be that whole pre-flight thing where you verify quantity of fuel on board before you launch.
It's possible.
Or, so fuel quantity, fuel quality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very hard to establish a fuel contamination issue when you're airborne. As far as you know, you've just lost an engine. So you might think to yourself, I wonder if that's fuel contamination. But when he came out and said it quite quickly, he didn't say very much, but he said it was a fuel issue.
No,
I'm thinking, I think I can guess what that fuel issue is. Yes.
You forgot the fuel. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he didn't. But he had just taken off.
I guess we'll find out for sure. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. In that case, I might be climbing up the wrong tree, barking up the wrong tree.
No, he had just taken off, and he was handed over to NorCal approach, and then he never checked in there. He just came right back and said, "But it could still be correct."
It still could be a fuel quantity issue if he thought that he had,
perhaps a fuel distribution. I don't know if there's any way to hide the fuel from those airplanes.
Yeah. Interesting one though, for sure. But and again, I don't know if it would have made a difference in this case, but by saying the words Mayday, that may have helped get everybody's attention. But it looked like
I think it got his attention pretty. Everyone was paying attention.
I'm wondering if you saw on the depiction of the simulated radar display that VAS Aviation puts up there on the video that the tag said in red letters EM for emergency. I'm wondering if that was something that the controller just did to change it to that, or if it was something like a squawk code. If you squawk 7700, if it automatically shows EM or not. But again, it's a simulated thing. It's not the actual display of the radar scope. But anyway, very interesting. Okay. All right. Nick, Liz was wondering if you wanted to say goodbye and get yourself off to bed, and then we can do the plane tales and do some more feedback, or whatever.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Thanks very much. My apologies for not having a new plain tale. It's a regurgitation of an earlier story.
Well, that's one way to say it. Not a good one,
but it's a nice poem
I think
anyway. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Classic plain tale, Nick. Classic.
Absolutely, an absolute classic. Yeah, one of my favourite. Yeah, and I'll see you guys next week with any luck. So and we'll be able to report on the meetup and anything else that's happened. So look forward to seeing you, and have a good show. Rest of.
Well, thank you very much.
By the way, can someone have a word with Rick and say late on parade again?
Mm-hmm. He'll be reprimanded.
Yeah.
Good. HR needs to speak, I think.
I believe so.
I think she already has an appointment.
Anyway, lovely seeing you two. Brilliant. And enjoy your
Great to see
evening.
you as well.
Going out for tacos, I gather.
Actually,
No.
I don't think so. I went ahead and got a burrito bowl before we
Jeff has had food,
recorded because I have a very, very early morning.
I have a very early start tomorrow as well, so we're going to, basically when we wrap up, probably just
head out. I'll
part
pack
ways
everything up, and Steph will head home and
grab some food on the way home probably, and just eat
get
and
some
then
sleep.
sleep.
All right.
Yep.
Brilliant. Well,
All
love
right.
to you both. And everyone look after yourself in the chat room, and see you guys next week.
All right, thanks, Nick.
And all the
Bye-bye.
best to Liz. Bye.
Now we can talk bad about him.
He's still there.
I know.
Wait, he's still there.
Yeah, we see you there.
Yeah.
No, Nick is one of the best. Yeah, the best
He's
guy.
one of-
He's pointing his fingers at us.
He's one of the best people on this podcast.
One of the best, for sure. Yeah. And
Good night.
there he is. Oh, wait. I thought you were leaving.
Well,
okay. So it's always great to have Nick, and we missed him last week. And point well made that it's a lot of fun when all of us can be on the show at the same time. So we'll have to give
figure out when that can
Rick
happen.
a stern talk.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. How close to the 2-hour mark are we? Oh. Okay. All right. Let's. That's going to take too long. So let's do this one. Oh. Yeah. Right. Okay. So this was sent in from someone named Liz.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know. Personal pilgrimage to a downed era warplane in Papua New Guinea. And this is from the New York Times. And this person named Liz says she thought this was an interesting story about one man's quest to find a World War II aircraft. And again, from the New York Times. So basically, it's the story of someone who visited and photographed a World War II crash site in 2019, but it wasn't their first time visiting. That was back in 1986 when this gentleman was 12 years old. I'm assuming it's a gentleman. Okay. And let's see. His family had recently moved to Papua New Guinea to work with a Bible translation organization. And some 800 languages are spoken there. Wow. And as part of our introduction to its life and culture, we lived for 6 weeks in a village called Likan, beside the Clay River in East Sepik Province. The wreck site was an hour's hike from the village. And anyway, it's kind of it's not, the style of the story is not a news narrative. It's more of a what would you call it?
Prose.
Some personal memoir, prose, that kind of thing. Beautiful though, very well written. Great photos of Papua New Guinea and the crash site and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to put a link to this article in the show notes for you all to check it out. Very interesting stuff. So thank you, Liz, for that. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're right. I think that it would be best for us to go ahead and head over to the old pilot's plain tales for this episode. And this is a reprise of an earlier... No overlay. Liz is so happy. No overlay. So we're just going to pop up the plain tale, the old pilot's plain tales
graphic?
Overlay graphic, and we're going to listen to this wonderful story. And here we go. It's called High Flight.
The Old Pilot's Plain Tales. High Flight. 75 years ago, the world was a vastly different place. Britain had been conducting a lonely war against the might of Germany, but that was about to change. The Japanese fleet, under the command of Admiral Yamamoto, had just struck Pearl Harbor without warning, severely damaging and destroying 8 battleships, 10 warships, 230 aircraft, and killing 2,403 American servicemen and civilians. The sneak attack had been conducted without a formal declaration of war. To quote President Roosevelt, he pronounced that the 7th of December would be a date which will live in infamy. A few days later, on the 11th of December, Adolf Hitler declared war on the United States. America was entering the Second World War. However, some Americans had already made the very personal and remarkably brave decision to help the beleaguered sovereign countries that make up the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland. The battle that was underway wasn't being conducted on the ground, but in the skies above it. The Battle of Britain was to stretch the Royal Air Force to its absolute limits, and on occasions every operational squadron assigned to protect the South was simultaneously engaged with the enemy. There was nothing in reserve. British factories were producing fighters as fast as humanly possible, but they were barely keeping up with the losses. During one 2-week period, 295 fighters were totally destroyed and a further 171 badly damaged, whereas only 269 Spitfires and Hurricanes were produced. This, however, wasn't Air Vice Marshal Stuffy Dowding's greatest concern. It was his pilots. During the same 2-week period, 103 pilots were killed and 128 were wounded, and there was no way to churn new pilots out of a factory. Those pilots who came to the British Isles during this time were valuable beyond belief, and none more so than those who filled the Eagle squadrons. There were pilots who flew with the R.A.F. from many nations, a considerable number of Poles and New Zealanders, Australians, Belgians, South Africans, Free French, Southern Rhodesians, even a Jamaican and a Palestinian pilot joined in the battle. But today we shall talk about the American pilots, and one special one from amongst them. The Eagle squadrons were the brainchild of Charles Sweeney, a wealthy businessman who was living in London. He had been recruiting American citizens to fight with a U.S. volunteer detachment in the French Air Force, echoing the Lafayette Escadrille of World War I. Following the fall of France, a dozen of these pilots crossed the English Channel and joined the R.A.F. Along with his rich society contacts and with the assistance of the World War I ace Billy Bishop, Sweeney continued to recruit and train pilots at a cost of over $100,000 each. These pilots either joined the R.A.F. or the Royal Canadian Air Force. Most Eagle Squadron pilots did not have a college education or prior military experience, a requirement for the U.S. Army Air Corps, and what's more, by joining foreign military units, They were technically breaking the laws of the officially neutral U.S. government. In the end, 3 Eagle squadrons were formed, numbers 71, 121 and 133, and they flew as part of the R.A.F. until they were turned over to the fledgling 8th Air Force and became the 4th Fighter Group in 1942. Of note, about 100 Eagle pilots had been killed, were missing or prisoners, and those who transferred wore their American military wings, but they retained their R.A.F. wings, which were worn in miniature on the opposite side of their uniforms. One pilot who made the brave decision to join his brothers-in-arms to fight the Nazis was John McGee, Jr. John's parents were missionaries working in Shanghai when he was born. His father was American, formerly of Scottish and Irish roots, and his mother English. He grew up in China, learning to speak Chinese before English, but his formal education was at Rugby School in England and Avon Old Farm School in Connecticut. He won a scholarship to Yale, but never took up his place. Whatever motivated him to come to the aid of the British, I don't know, but I suspect that love of his mother's country, or perhaps his love of Eleanor Lyon, the Rugby headmaster's daughter, had a lot to do with it. Whilst at school in England, John had become interested in poetry, and the lovely Eleanor was the inspiration of many of his poems. McGee crossed the border into Canada in 1940, joining the Royal Canadian Air Force and beginning his pilot training in Ontario. He completed his training, receiving his wings in June 1941, and was sent to England, where he converted onto the Spitfire. With his training complete, John was posted to number 412 Squadron at R.A.F. Digby in Lincolnshire. He had only been in the country a few months when he flew a newer model of Spitfire up to an altitude of over 30,000 feet. It was only his 7th Spitfire flight, and as he orbited and climbed upwards, he was struck with the inspiration for a poem. His friend and fellow pilot, Michael Lebas, an Argentinian, ran into him afterwards and recalled that he was waxing lyrical about his flight. I urged him, though not very seriously, Lebas said, that since he had always wanted to be a poet, he should put his feelings down in words. He thereupon sat down in the mess and composed, in a very short time, the first draft of High Flight, written, literally, on the back of an envelope. The poem was completed later that day. McGee proceeded to write a letter, dated September the 3rd, 1941, to his parents. In it he mentioned, "I'm enclosing a verse I wrote the other day. It started at 30,000 feet and was finished soon after I landed." On the back of the letter were the words of his poem, entitled High Flight. McGee was still only aged 19 years old when he got airborne in a Spitfire AD-291, which had the squadron markings Victor Zulu Hotel on the fuselage. Departing from R.A.F. Wellingore, he was flying with 3 of his colleagues. Also in the air that day was an Oxford trainer from R.A.F. Cranwell, flown by one Ernest Aubrey Griffin, also aged 19, an RAF volunteer reserve pilot. As McGee and his flight descended through a hole in the clouds near the hamlet of Roxholm, at about 1,400 feet, his Spitfire struck the Oxford. A farmer watched the aftermath of the collision and saw McGee struggling to push back his canopy. By the time he was free to stand on his seat and jump, he was too low for his parachute to open, and he died on impact. Griffin, the Oxford pilot, was also killed. Part of the official letter to McGee's parents read, Your son's funeral took place at Scopwick Cemetery near Digby Aerodrome at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday the 13th of December 1941. The service being conducted by Flight Lieutenant S.K. Belton, the Canadian Padre of this station. He was accorded full service honours, the coffin being carried by pilots of his own squadron. A brave young man who had not even seen combat, John Gillespie McGee Jr., has a very special place in the hearts of generations of pilots. Not for the sacrifice of his life to help those in another country defeat a terrible foe, although that should have been enough, but for the words he wrote a short while before. When his parents received the poem in a letter before John's death, his father, who was the curate of St. John's Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C., reprinted it in church publications. The poem became more widely known through the efforts of the Librarian of Congress, who included it in an exhibition of poetry called Faith and Freedom in 1942. The manuscript copy of the original poem remains at the Library of Congress. During World War II, Hollywood stars toured the United States on a mission to raise war bonds. Famed actress Merle Oberon recited High Flight as part of this show. Orson Welles also recited it during an episode of Command Performance in 1943. The poem became a favourite amongst aviators and astronauts. It is the official poem of the Royal Canadian Air Force and the Royal Air Force, and has to be recited from memory by fourth-class cadets at the United States Air Force Academy. General Robert Lee Scott Jr. included the poem in his book God is My Co-Pilot, and astronaut Michael Collins took it into space on his flight in Gemini 10. President Ronald Reagan quoted from it during his address to the nation following the Challenger disaster. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth, and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung, high in the sunlit silence, hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along, and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long delirious burning blue, I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where never a lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind I've trod the high untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. The poem is found on many gravestones, but perhaps none is more deserving than that of the author, John Gillespie McGee Jr., who modestly has just the opening and concluding lines on the white military marker over his grave in the Holy Cross Cemetery in Scopwick, Lincolnshire, not far from where he died.
It's over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back, Jeff. So we were actually listening to the Plain Tales, but we had it on the speaker so that we could enjoy it and talk to each other.
It's a shorter one that we're.
It was short, and we did realize it was coming to the end there, but then there was some scramble to get back. Jeff apparently has lost his headphones there. Odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of the charm of this particular show.
Well, you know what? I don't even need the darn. Well, I guess I do in case there's some other audio stuff.
Yeah, or I'll just pause for a second here while Jeff figures out what's going on with his.
This is a
headphones.
new thing that I got, and
Jeff has new technology. Imagine that. I feel like this is a very recurring theme that when you have new technology, it just never works exactly to plan.
No.
But he continues to just always try new technology. So nothing ever works exactly to plan.
I'm always tempting fate with
But yes, we do remember that Plain Tale. That's definitely a classic. And thank you, Nick, for doing such a great job on them as always.
Absolutely. All right. So we probably should move on then to...
I think we should move on. Let's do some feedback.
All right, number 5, I'm hearing voices from above.
You should get that checked out.
Yeah, okay. This is from Slav. Thank you. Hello, APG crew. I hope you're all doing fine. My name is Slav Inger. I'm the one who gave Chris Stiers a ride in the Rockwell Commander 114 back in August. I'm glad Chris enjoyed it. His feedback made it into episode 487. I very much enjoyed it as well. I agree with what he said. This is a wonderful community that allows us to reach out and support each other. Just wanted to add some context to our attempted ILS practice approach at the Pontiac Airport, Kilo Papa Tango Kilo, which happens to be the second busiest in the state after Detroit Metro, DTW. Interestingly, last year, Pontiac saw way more traffic than Detroit, given the fall-off in airline volume and the opposite effect in Part 135 and freight ops. Some of us took this opportunity to go down to the dormant large Class B, or Class Bravo, and shoot some approaches. Controllers were happy to talk to someone for a change. Flying IFR cross-country last year, sectors that are normally crazy busy were mostly dead air. It was so surreal. Anyway, back to my story. Just for the record, while calling it a practice approach, I'm well aware that I could not log it as such, since Chris was not a legal safety pilot in this instance. On this day, the primary instrument runway 9 right was closed due to runway maintenance. We asked the tower for a own nav simulated ILS to 9 right in VFR, no vectoring by Detroit approach, culminating with either a low approach over 9 right or a sidestep to 9 left and low approach, depending on tower's preference. I commonly do this, try to fly abbreviated instrument approaches anytime I'm landing VFR or on a visual, at least the final segment from the final approach fix down, traffic and conditions permitting, to stay proficient with avionics and instrument flying skills. While I prefer to file IFR, it isn't practical for local sightseeing trips. I check NOTAMs and TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, before every flight. However, I must admit that in the myriad of Pontiac NOTAMs that were active that day, I overlooked that the ILS was NOTAMed out as well, not always a given with a closed runway. I looked at the NOTAMs once we got back, and yes, this time I found it. Live and learn. Yeah, a lot of times. That's
you know what NOTAMs are? They're just a bunch of garbage.
Although sometimes they're actually important.
Well, but that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
The important ones are not made any more important appearing.
No.
They're just in there with all the ones that are
with everything
unimportant.
Else. With the completely garbage
I mean, they're
ones.
all important.
Yeah. If you're listening to FAA.
If the FAA, they're all important.
No, I think...
But the more importanter ones are not made clearly more important.
Right.
In the way the NOTAMs
and they
are written.
really need to do something to fix that, because if it's something important like a runway closure or airport closure or something like that,
yeah, airport's closed.
Should
Don't come
like
here.
Stand out.
That should be like bright red at top. You
yes,
know? And then by the way, maybe this runway is closed or this instrument procedure is going to be unavailable because the ILS is out of service. Those things are, I would say, of higher order importance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I talk to people at my day job. Yes, your back pain is important, But more importanter is probably your heart and your, you know, your lungs and your kidney and your liver and your brain. So if something's going wrong there, you might want to prioritize those things before, you know.
You work on the little things that are not quite as important.
Making you feel pretty bad, but
yeah,
not necessary for continued existence of life.
Yeah, because if you're not living, then
it doesn't matter.
Other stuff matters.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Where was I?
Death by 1,000 NOTAMs is indeed a real problem.
Yes, when flying into larger airports. APG crew, how do you folks handle this volume of NOTAMs in the 121 world? I mean, it's difficult, and we've talked about it so many times on the show that there are groups out there really working hard to kind of distill, you know, the NOTAMs that are important for us to be aware of, and you know, put on the back burner the ones that aren't quite so important, or get rid of them entirely.
In like 200 yards off center and only 100 feet or whatever it is. And birds in vicinity of airport.
Yeah, that's an important one.
Birds.
The birds, because, you know, it's so weird when there are birds around an airport. It's really crazy.
There's birds at every airport.
Every airport, yeah. Anyway, it's tough.
Speaking of, I flying the 182 yesterday. A touchdown, landed, and this bird took off right in front of me, and then it like zigzagged to the right in front of me, and then it came back again to the left, and then again to the right. I was like, just make up your mind and go one direction. Like, I'm on the ground now. You're gonna have to look out for yourself.
Very fast bird, huh?
Well, yeah, but it was like, you know, the slow motion, like you're catching up to it. It's like no. And I was like, just go one direction. Figure this out.
Crazy birds.
I don't know that it was the brightest bird.
Unusual bird activity.
That was unusual bird activity.
Yes. Let's see. So he continues. Here's a pic of our beauty attached. I believe we have an overlay, Liz, of the Commander 114, the Eximius Flying Club. Is that the way you would say that? Eximius?
Eximius. Sure.
Flying Club is the only club that owns a Commander 114, as far as we know. That's a good-looking airplane there, I'd say. Here's the coolest part. As I write this same aircraft is embarking on an amazing adventure we're calling 48 by 48, a Guinness record-setting attempt to land in 48 U.S. contiguous states. Contiguous, I'm sorry. As soon as I said that, I thought, I was right. Contiguous states within 48 hours. So 48 U.S. contiguous states within 48 hours, finishing on September 11th. By doing this, we're showcasing the utility potential of general aviation. Look what a single-engine, four-seater, non-cabin class airplane can do, and also marking the 20th 9/11 anniversary by celebrating our freedom to fly. Please refer to the attached audio clip recorded by one of Captain Kirk's, one of the two pilots on this trip, both named Kirk. And yes, they do intend to land at the KIRK, Kilo India Romeo Kilo, Kirksville, Missouri airport. Very clever. The trip will be over by the time this feedback is published. I'll report back regarding how it went. Even if we don't make 48 hours due to weather or other safety issues, safety first, we still have a good shot at setting a record, since the current standing 48 state record is many days longer. Probably going to beat your 50 state
well, I didn't. Yeah, that was over a lifetime.
A little bit different.
A little different. Yeah. I should have just rented a Commander 114.
Yeah,
I would have been able to do it faster.
Oh yeah, a lot faster. Best regards, Slav Inger.
I saw this attempt on a Facebook group that I'm a part of as well. I don't know if it successfully was completed, but I know it did take off as intended. And
let's listen to the recording that he sent of one of the Kirks talking about this record-setting attempt right now.
This year, September 9th through the 11th, Kirk Scudder and Kirk McCardle are planning a record-setting attempt by landing in all 48 contiguous states within a 48-hour period. This attempt is sanctioned by the Guinness Book of World Records and is planned to occur over the weekend of the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks to commemorate this tragic event. The flight will depart from and return to the Coleman Young Detroit City Airport, which is the home base for Eximius Flying Club. The two Captain Kirks will be flying the club's Rockwell Commander 114, which has the appropriate performance characteristics to complete the journey successfully. Eximius is the only flying club in the world with a Commander 114. Behind the scenes, Eximius members will provide 24-hour support for the flight, which requires intricate planning in order to meet the record-setting criteria required by Guinness. Kirk Scudder, a professional commercial airline pilot, has very carefully evaluated the most efficient routes to each airport needed for landing in order to touch down once in each state. Considerations such as fuel management, weather, terrain, and the need to properly document each landing create many challenges that must be successfully met. Signatures of local airport personnel are needed to document each stop. Strict coordination is necessary to ensure the flight is met at each airport regardless of the time of day or local operational conditions. Kirk McCardle is also a highly experienced pilot who has the most flight hours in the commander of any club member. Among other duties, his role is to ensure the aircraft is in top condition for the flight and that the various recording devices and other administrative aspects are properly managed. Flying continuously for 2 full days takes the utmost in coordination between the two pilots, who will take turns being pilot in command while the other assists and gets some rest. The two Captain Kirks are highly complementary and ideal to fly this record-setting event together and plan to complete the record upon touchdown at Detroit City Airport on September 11th, 2021. In addition to setting the record and commemorating the 9/11 anniversary, the purpose of the trip is to highlight the benefits of general aviation and the value of local airports such as Detroit City. Anyone with a computer can follow the progress of this flight on software such as FlightAware, using the tail number November 2299 Bravo. Please follow and support this endeavor as we celebrate the unique freedoms which we enjoy as citizens of this great country.
All right. Thank you, one of the Captain Kirks. And we're looking it up right now to see if they were successful.
I'm trying to find it. I know I had seen their journey posted in a Facebook group. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Does anybody in our live audience and our brain trust know whether or not that they were successful or not? How about Lane Street? I see that he's in the chat room now. What do you think?
Sorry, I'm never going to be able to find it. It was...
Yeah,
sorry.
Pressure's on. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought I could look really quick, but
maybe
it's not worth the...
somebody can send us some information about that, and we can...
He said he was going to update us.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
well, then
Slav.
We'll let him update us and let us know how it all went.
Yeah, he recognized this was going to be read after the fact.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Slav, for sending that in. Let's see, we have some more... what would you call this? Well, it's a video, actually, and we're not going to play the entire thing or watch it, but Robert, who used to be south of the Big Chicken in Marietta, I'd like to say, is now in Tucker, Georgia, on the other side of town, and he went on a big retirement adventure with his mom. And they went up to Alberta, Canada, and did a big trip, and he recorded it on video, and he sent us a link to that on YouTube. So you should check that out if you want to see that. It's very interesting, by the way. I did watch it, and I recommend that you do as well. So thank you, Robert, for that. I think it's, I forgot exactly how long the thing is. It's 14 and a half minutes, so a little bit too long for us to play on the show, but check it out. And
looks like they did not make the show. I was just pulling up the information on Flight Radar 24. I did find the link, but then there was no follow-up in the link in the Facebook group, so I was thinking it perhaps was not successful
okay,
either
yeah,
for
Liz
Kirks
said that
48 by 48
by 48 did not work, did not pan out. But yeah, maybe they'll attempt it again, perhaps. let's see. Also from Robert in Tucker, Georgia. Curious questions for the crew.
Mm-hmm.
What is... Okay, wait. I need to share this. Kind of funny. Not funny, but it's funny to me. Okay, share this image, share screen, and window, and that, and share. Okay.
You're getting faster at that.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting better.
As the show goes on.
Getting better. So the it's Delta Airlines, very similar to the airline for which I fly. And it's also a 717. It looks like a Boeing 717. And he's asking about the. Let me see. Let me read exactly what he said. He said, "What is that extra shiny square in the windows above the cockpit? I believe this is a recent addition to the fleet. Further, why do these and the DC-9 series fleet have these extra windows anyway?" We've talked about
because it's such an old design when you're navigating by celestial.
No, it
reckoning.
Has nothing to do, and
you need
know
to be
that.
able to
She knows that is not correct, and she's doing that just to pimp me or tweak me or something.
Yeah, Liz had it right. Press your buttons. Push your buttons.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, you know what I should do? Yes, you're right. That's exactly it. Was celestial navigation. We carry, by the way, in my suitcase. I have it over there on back. I can't.
A sextant?
Yeah,
big celestial.
I carry a sextant with me, just in case we lose our navigation
Your
equipment.
GPS. What? No, Liz.
But anyway, no, these windows are made for clearing, and when back in the old days, the good old days, when actually pilots would look outside, clear for
Why
traffic.
would a pilot do that?
Well,
it's
when
right
we
there
actually,
on my screen. Little
I know.
Arrows moving
I know
around.
you're being facetious. Anyway, I love. You've heard me, in my opinion about. I love the eyebrow windows. I think I love them, but
I think they're sexy.
Newer.
They look good on the airplane.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But now I don't know. They're kind of messing with the sexy vibe here with this shiny. What did Robert call it? A shiny
extra square.
Extra
shiny square. Was that an extra square or just an extra shiny
square? It's
a
shiny square.
What are we modifying here with the extra?
I think we're modifying shiny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I read it. Anyway, so this picture here, if you're watching the video, and if you're not, then look at the link in the show notes. So he's referring to that something that's in the eyebrow window, some kind of a special new thing. You know what that is?
It looks like a sunshade.
No, it's not even a sunshade.
Is it?
Well, it's
something being used as a sunshade.
Yes.
I'm actually.
It's just a piece of paper. It's like
sexual
probably part of our flight plan. Or weather or NOTAMs, which are a bunch of garbage.
Here, do you want to read these NOTAMs? No, but I need to block the sun coming in this window.
I put them up here so I can refer to them very easily.
Yes.
By just looking up and tilting my head back. No, so one of the drawbacks of these eyebrow windows, and the reason why many pilots have a contrarian view of these things, is the fact that, we've learned a lot about UV radiation in the last couple of decades and how it's not good for you.
Do you wear your sunscreen while flying?
I do not.
Okay. Talk about some health maintenance things here after the show.
Does that disqualify me for the APG health plan?
Yes.
Oh, dang it. Well, yes, I do.
Okay.
I meant to say yes, I do.
Excellent.
Dr.
I'm
Steph.
very happy to hear that you wear your sunscreen on a daily basis.
So in lieu of sunscreen, several pilots will put some kind of a physical blocking device up in that little eyebrow window to kind of cut down on the amount of UV radiation that's coming through. And sometimes one of those pieces of paper really do the trick. Block a lot of the sun.
They're not all garbage, the NOTAMs.
Well, I guess in this case, if those are actually NOTAMs that
they're serving a purpose.
They are serving a purpose, not garbage. But I guess after the flight's over, it will be.
Be in the garbage.
If they remember.
That's the appropriate time to place them in the garbage.
The deal is that sometimes, you don't really look up there to see if somebody has put some sun-blocking items up in that little eyebrow. It's not part of our checklist procedure to check. But Yeah, so that's what it is. So it's nothing fancy, just a piece of paper up there to help block the sun beating down on us.
I was trying to see if it truly was extra shiny, if it was like a piece of tin foil or something.
Yeah, there's one on the FO side. There's another picture of it. Yeah, it's very low tech. That's what that is. Good question though, Robert. I mean, from the perspective that you had for looking at this from the terminal window, it's really hard to tell exactly what it is.
It bothers my OCD a little bit though that it's not
exactly
lined up right. It's a little off centered.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. No. Okay.
All right.
Oh, thank goodness.
End it now.
Are you sure we're not like really close to the end? No? Okay. Yeah, we could be. Okay. Hey, we're having fun here. Let's continue with some more feedback. This is from Walt. This is actually very good. So he wants to be sure that we don't use his full name because he doesn't want anybody to know that he listens to the Airline Pilot Guy.
That's fair.
Show.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
right. Very understandable. Hello, all. This is my second feedback in about 5 years, and you finally hit a topic that I can actually add something to Rick's knowledge. Ooh, we should be playing.
Yes. Yeah.
We should be doing this with Rick.
Yeah. You want to save it? Nah.
Nah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm a PC-12, a Pilatus PC-12 night freight single pilot operator based in Atlanta and have 3,000 hours in the plane, with just shy of 2,000 hours of that being at night. I've trained at both SimCom and flight safety for the aircraft. I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt, the PC-12 is the easiest aircraft I've ever flown. The profiles in which it can be flown are extremely wide, and it can be flown like a Cessna 172 or a Cessna Citation, depending on your needs at the time. The Pratt & Whitney PT6 turboprop does not have a FADEC per se, but the power control lever, no split throttle / prop controls, runs to a bellows system run from the PY air from the engine. What is that? Must be
bleed.
One of the bleeds, yeah. This bellows system prevents over-torquing the engine, but is one of the only weak points, if there really are any, on the PC-12. A partial pneumatic leak can prevent the bellows from operating at full capacity, which will cause an otherwise perfectly running engine to run at partial or idle power. The solution? The manual override lever, or MOR, M-O-R, which was discussed briefly. The MOR is a direct link to the throttle and provides no over-torque protection, but bypasses the bellows system in the event of a power loss from the bellows system. I want to be the first to say that I hate armchair quarterbacks, but the Pilatus community, and I believe the pilot himself, have said that the MOR lever was never touched. It's quite easy to forget about it, as it contracts down into the center console and is easily forgotten about if it is not drilled into you during training to use it. The problem with the PC-12 at idle power is there is roughly 6 feet of prop acting as a speed brake. It's my understanding the pilot never attempted the use of the MOR lever, which would have in all probability restored power to the aircraft. I also recall that the prop was not feathered. The PC-12 has around a 13 to 16 to 1 glide ratio, depending on what Pilatus propaganda you find.
I feel like he's saying that that's maybe generous.
Yeah. With a feathered prop, slips well if needed, and has massive flaps to aid in either getting just a little stretch or adding significant drag to the airplane, depending on what the pilot needs out of the airframe to get it on the field. Without feathering the prop, the airplane will come down at what I estimate to be more of a 5 to 1 ratio. That's a lot steeper.
Yes, that's definitely not 13 to 16 to 1. Yeah.
The PC-12 has an AOA sensors and shaker pusher protection. Going by the Swiss cheese model, I think he means the
Funyun effect.
The Funyun effect. Lots of holes have to be poked in this scenario to make it to
not make it to the flat ground safely.
Oh, to not make it. Thank you. To not make it to flat ground safely, especially in the DFW Metroplex. In the end, in my humble opinion, The pilot just simply made a series of wrong decisions throughout the incident due to a lack of knowledge, training, and or seat time. I love the PC-12, its capabilities, and its reliability. Keep up the great work, and I hope to see you all at a meetup soon. And I look forward to meeting you as well, sir.
Mm-hmm. It is quite amazing when you have a very large prop in the front of the airplane, how much that will act as a speed brake.
Yeah, what did he say, 13 feet?
He says 6 feet, but...
Or 6 feet, okay.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it's a lot of
That's
prop
a lot.
out there.
That's a big prop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a big parachute out there, I guess.
Oh, it's just like idle power, it ends up being like a brick that is...
If it's not feathered.
Yeah, if it's not feathered, yeah.
And you know all about that because you fly props that it's important to get them feathered, right? If you lose an engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's a shame that, this pilot, didn't really think about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
MOR system.
So that's where training's important. That's where thinking through emergency situations on a regular basis is important. And if you're not doing that on a regular basis, then you're in a stressful situation where you're, where you're just overtaxed, then it's easy to forget about those things that you should be doing.
So true. And it's so easy. That's one of the biggest dangers, I think, for
task
us as
saturated,
pilots.
that's the word I was thinking of when you're task saturated.
Yeah, but one of the biggest threats I think out there, especially for people who've been doing this for quite some time, is it's easy to get a little complacent and and you get comfortable with everything, and and then when all of a sudden you're in a situation where you really need to rely upon that base of knowledge and training and everything else, you better be ready for it because it could go bad.
Well, it's never going to happen when you expect it to, right?
I know.
When are you ever expecting to have the
sim.
abnormal... Well, outside of the sim, when are you ever expecting to have a non-normal
In the
situation?
sim, you're expecting nothing to go wrong.
Like, it's all going wrong today, all going wrong.
In fact, that's one of the dangers in the sim. You're in there and you just start doing stuff and going,
they're
what the heck
why are you doing that? This is fine right now.
thought
You're
that-
like, I thought you were trying to make this much harder for me than
quite
it
sure
actually
that there
is.
was something really wrong. No,
Nope.
we didn't do anything.
Nope,
We
not
hadn't pushed
yet.
any of our little buttons
Not
yet. Self-induced emergencies, I think they call
We already
that.
did this one. Yeah.
Did we? Well, then we should probably move on to a different one.
11.
Thank you. All right, Michael, this is interesting. I don't know if you had a chance to look
I
at
have
this.
not. Yeah.
Okay, I've been following this. Okay, this is from
Michelle.
Hello, Captain Jeff and team. I've been following this chap in the U.S. who's been building his own Raptor aircraft from scratch with an Audi turbo diesel engine. He has a YouTube channel, and his last and I looked at this channel. It's very, very interesting because he kind of let me continue with his feedback first. In his last video, we see a new generation aircraft of his plan. The reason, the previous model, the OG Raptor aircraft, crashed into a cornfield. It's over a month old, but better late than never, and I thought this would interest the team. He explains the crash here in the first few minutes of the video. We'll put a link in the show notes if you want to watch the video, and I highly recommend that you do because it's very interesting. Let's see, a couple of before and after pics courtesy from his website and YouTube channel and a local news report. And so I'm going to, obviously I should
Oopsie.
share this so that everybody can see this very interesting looking airplane. Here we go. Share. Boom. 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 And boom. It's 4 booms if you're counting. Here we go. There is the experimental Raptor. It's a looks like a mid-wing with a canard design and winglets, pusher prop with an Audi engine.
Turbo diesel?
Yep, turbo diesel. Looks like a how many blades on that? About 6 bladed?
1, 2, 3, probably 5.
5?
5 blade prop. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a picture here, as you can see, of the airplane in the cornfield.
Oops.
Which is probably, if you couldn't make it to the to an airport or runway, landing in a cornfield is probably not a bad place.
It's tricky. So if it's this time of year in the Midwest, that corn could be quite tall. And difficult to judge flare heights and things. And, and not great for your gear.
Well, the Nebraska State Patrol said that they were extremely thankful that this pilot was able to walk away from this small plane crash in Fillmore County. And there's another shot of the...
I mean, it looks like he did a reasonable job of...
Yep.
Not catching the gear and flipping it over or something along those lines.
More information here regarding that. But let me see here. No, I'm sorry, I didn't put the video in here. Anyway, so the cool thing about this video, going to this channel and seeing his latest video about the new version or evolution of the Raptor, is that he's really made an interesting design change. And the biggest, of course, is going from the Audi turbo diesel engine to electric engines, twin. One on each of the wings.
Oh, not pusher props anymore.
And well,
are they on the?
I guess
trailing edge or the?
No, they're on the. They're toward the trailing edge of the wing. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's technically a pusher or
Depends on
or
which
tractor. But and then there's an engine back in the area where the turbo diesel is in this design that supplies the electrical power for the electric engines, fans, and also he was able to reduce the wingspan of the wing by making like this, like he connects the
like a box.
Yeah, like a box. I don't know what they call that, box tail or something.
Yeah.
But it makes it much more rigid. It gives it more lifting surfaces, and you don't have to have such a large wingspan with these big winglets on there. I mean, they still have winglets, but it's just a much more compact and efficient design. Yeah. So anyway, very very cool. He really goes into a lot of detail about why they made these decisions for the design changes and everything else. And I think, it makes it a lot easier to like store in these small hangars and that kind of thing. Big, quite a interesting improvement. Oh, okay. I need to unshare the screen. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so check that out. Thank you, Michelle, for sending that in. And it was good, Michelle. Okay, control room is telling us to go to 14. And, Stefan. I haven't done anything with this audio, so hopefully it probably don't need to, because Stefan usually has it up at a pretty good volume level. So, I'm sorry, this is not for the show. It's sent to Liz.
Oh, we'll skip it then.
Okay. A special relationship. Oh, okay, Liz. In your last episode, Jeff asked for some travel tips for London. Actually, I did.
JJ did.
Yeah,
JJ, not Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, JJ. It was JJ Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. It was JJ Pittsburgh.
The real JJ.
Too many JJs.
Yeah.
I will get it right eventually.
I recommend some travel passes, like the London Pass or London Card. Is that like for...
I have never purchased a London Pass or London Card. I'm assuming it's for public transportation. The one for like the underground is just the Oyster card.
Well, I wonder if maybe this piece of audio feedback he explains.
Maybe he does.
All right, let's take a listen.
A big hello to the APG team and to everybody listening to this great show. This is Stefan from Germany calling, and I'd like to give you some feedback for episode 489, the Underwater Wing Walker, and especially a feedback to JJ Pittsburgh. Any tips to travel to London? Well, I'm not from London, obviously, but I like, as a tourist, give you some tips if you want to go to London. It's the London Pass. That's a card where you buy in advance a lot of attractions. By the way, there are several of those traveling cards. There are London Pass, London Card, and what else? The other one was the London Explorer Pass. So there are several cards which let you buy several attractions at once. You get sometimes a quick access. Sometimes you get also free bus and train rides with that as well. I think if anybody who's going to visit London and should look at those passes, London Pass, it's quite a bit of money you pay, but you have a lot of attractions in it, and it's a good thing where you have that, because when you're walking through London, you pass by a museum and you look at it and you say, hey, I'm get a free entry for this one, and then you walk in these museums and you discover a lot of things either way around when you walk by a museum, and you always have to decide, oh, pay a money for that or pay or not. It makes much more easier to you feel much relaxed visiting a lot of stuff and have fun in cities. Those passes are there for several cities, even in America, and I've used those passes for Rome, for Paris, for Barcelona. So maybe you should look at it. That's a small tip. And well, again, big thank you for APG for the show, and I enjoy it very much. Bye-bye.
And we enjoy your contributions to the show and to my liquor cabinet.
Well, there we go. So if you're wanting to do museum things or attractions within cities, that's a good suggestion. Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah, very good suggestion. And it's as you said, it's.
And I never think to do things like that because my travel MO is basically buy a ticket to go somewhere and figure it out when you get there.
What? You don't do like this extensive planning, pre-planning and everything?
No,
stuff?
It drove my friends nuts recently when I did a couple trips with friends just here in the U.S. They're like, do you want to plan meals for the weekend? I was like, why would I do that? Like, so we can buy food in advance? I was like,
why would we do
why
that?
would we do that? I was just going to show up with my case of beer and figure out the food.
Steph is more into serendipity.
It always works out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's the way I like to do
and then
things
there's more
too.
flexibility.
But it drives people nuts that are planners.
Oh yeah, the planners.
That would drive
like
Liz nuts, I think.
That was a resounding yes from the control room. Yep.
Oh.
Well, you need a little bit of planning, right? So, yeah, you need a little bit of planning. You can't. Well, I have done trips where there's been almost no planning, but generally it involves knowing the dates you can go, having your itinerary to and from, so some sort of method of getting from point A to point B and back again. And it's not a bad idea to have your hotel or accommodations booked.
Yeah, there's some things.
Because sometimes that gets stressful if you don't do that far enough in advance. It can get pricey or all of a sudden sell out and then you're stuck. So I like to have those things in place, but everything else can just kind of be like, well, I woke up today and I feel like doing this. And go with the flow.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a pass like that, as Stefan mentions, because even though it's kind of expensive, and maybe you're not going to use it as much. That
probably would be good for someone like me, because then you can be like, oh, yeah, here it is. I find myself here, and I would like to go.
And you don't
into
have to think about whether or not you want to spend the extra for doing the extra thing. It's just like it's all covered. Yeah, like what do they call that? Like the resorts that you go to.
All inclusive.
All inclusive. There you go. Thank you. What was a stereo?
That was very stereo. Liz and I said that at the exact same time. Great minds.
Okay.
Excellent.
Let's share Larry Gregory. He sent us a cartoon, which is, of course, my favorite cartoonist, I guess.
Cartoonist.
Gary Larson. And it is a picture from the mid to back of an airplane looking forward so you can see the passengers.
Oddly, no cockpit door.
Yeah, well, this is before 9/11, right? And no cockpit door necessary. You can see right into the cockpit. And what you see is maybe a little bit of a concern to some people. Both of the pilots are on their hands and knees.
Searching for something on the floor.
Searching for on the floor, and here's the caption. Well, there is some irony in all this, I mean, we both lose a lens at the same time. So, the contact lenses.
And there's only one guy in the cabin who seems to have noticed what's going on. Everyone else is like occupied, like reading the newspaper or sleeping, and this one guy is like, "Ooh, what's going on up there?
What's going on up there? That's kind of odd."
I have concerns.
My mom wore contact lenses, the hard contact lenses. And I remember as a kid, I don't know how often it occurred, but it seemed quite often that we'd be,
searching for a contact lens on the ground.
Being very careful about where we were stepping because, you break one of those things. Those are expensive.
Those are,
and something that she wore, quite a bit until she got new ones. Not like the everyday disposable
dailies.
ones that they have now. Yeah. But
I don't
anyway,
know.
it's just like almost impossible sometimes to see a clear glass.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Even the disposable ones sometimes can be very tricky to find depending on the surface they fall onto, which I'm so glad I don't have to deal with contact lenses anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's a good point, Liz. She said, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that both of these pilots are wearing their flight caps, their pilot hats.
You'd have to take me back to pre-9/11 days because I actually just don't remember. But if people could see into the cockpit or go up there, nah.
We had doors.
Yeah, I know there were doors. But
yeah.
If it was more readily accessible, you didn't leave your hat on the whole time?
No, we didn't leave our hat on. The only time I leave my hat on is if I'm doing a selfie and I'm trying to be funny.
Fair enough.
And put my headset, over the top. Wear your hat and then put the headset over the top of the hat. That's the classic.
I've actually
look.
found that wearing I actually usually do wear a hat, but like a baseball cap.
Yeah, that's different.
Caravan, because going back to too much sun coming in, that's a thing in the caravan for sure. But I've found it actually works a little bit better to put the hat over the top, just have it all the way open.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Top.
It's a really good look.
Yeah, I do have a new hat. I have not worn it yet flying this though. But the reason for that is because when I put it underneath, my headset doesn't seal right against my head, and it lets too much noise in.
Yeah, yeah.
So it looks dorky, but it's serving a purpose, and I'm quite comfortable. Thank you.
It
very
makes
much.
it look like you have like a really super wide head.
I know.
Like, oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Do you know you're supposed to wear your hat underneath the headset? Yes, I know, but it doesn't work.
That makes it. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to get a good seal for.
And especially if you try to jab sunglasses in there too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good point. Anyway, well,
I have a little peanut head, so I have to,
Oh, you do not. Okay, so I think it's now time for us to wrap up this episode. Thank goodness. And this is where we kind of tell you about some things that might help you learn more about the show, the crew, the community, the goings-on in the community, the APG community calendar. We have a library. Tiffany, our librarian, manages that. And I'm not going to see anything else because I think I got in a little trouble last time. Yeah, because I thought I was being very complimentary about Tiffany, but apparently HR or the HR representative at the time, because you weren't there, got on to me about that. Let's see, what else? Merchandise. We have more info about the plane tales and such there, and so much more. So check it out, airlinepilotguy.com, our website. And we also do the social media stuff, the social medias. Because
if you're on social media, and why wouldn't you be? All the cool kids are doing social media.
Some people have
privacy
other
issues.
things going on in their lives.
Yeah, a life.
Yeah.
If you have a life, this doesn't apply to you, but for the rest of us, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. You can also find us on Twitter. We're at APG Crew, and the individual handles for all of us are pinned to the top of that page. And you can also head over to Instagram at APG Crew, and sometimes I put Nick's artwork there if you want to see it for the show or in advance of the show, or go back and look at them and admire them later on.
There you go. And we also have...
Yes. Is Hillel here?
Well, let's see. Let's see if we can find the little hidden speaker. I hear the water.
He's always in the shower.
Yeah, he's a clean guy. So, hey, Hillel, do you have time for Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
I know.
We've got extra towels.
Yeah, we do have extra towels. So come on over here. Here, let's move apart a little bit so you can kind of get up to one of these microphones and watch the water. You're dripping all over the place. Okay, here we go. Tell us about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at Slack at airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo at airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thank you, Hillel. We really do appreciate all that information about Slack.
Jeff,
What?
You might want to call down to the front desk for some clean towels.
But we had extras.
Well,
Not anymore.
not sure what's going on there in the bathroom, but
Well,
we don't have clean towels.
better not to ask,
Nope.
probably. We'll
Nope.
just leave it there.
Ew, Jeff, you said you didn't use the washcloths.
Oh, no. Okay, we'll talk about this after the show. Oh, my gosh. All right, well, nice to have Hillel
Thanks, Hillel.
with us. And we also want to put out a big thank you for our producer, director, Liz, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Liz Pyper, thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
You are the best, without a doubt. And, I keep meaning to fix that.
It's a very abrupt end
A lot
to
of
the
these sound
applause.
effects, when I press the
They fade.
button, they fade out, but you have to actually set that up.
I see.
And I always forget to do that. And then I'm reminded that I haven't done that every show. Anyway, thanks for everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for just being, supporters of the show. And until we meet again, wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to what a slacker, Lane says about Hillel.
Hillel guy, what a slacker. Jeez.
Is did the mayor show up today, Liz? Yeah, Mike Kuipers.
He was there.
Yeah, okay. I would say it probably has everything to do with that. It was like I just didn't have a good vibe on this one. It
Really?
just-
I enjoyed it. No?
See, so Liz was feeling the
All
same
right.
thing, the same way. Oh, hello, Mike.
Not one of our best.
Yeah, I was saying that to Steph when we were listening. The plane tail was going on. I said, I just thought there's something. I'm off today.
You're off.
I'm just feeling.
See, I felt less off than I.
Yeah.
I feel like I felt so off the past 2 weeks that I did not feel off.
Last show, you were like.
Oh, I was
down
about
at you
dead
a couple of times.
I was about dead
Bent
last
over
week.
your desk. Hello, Steph. That also,
that didn't help. It was very hard to communicate with Nick, and it was hard to tell when he was trying to talk. Yeah, I think he was tired.
Yeah, I think he kind of took offense to that, and
I
don't
know,
think
I
he
was like,
realized that we were having
couldn't
this big
tell
lag.
that-
We didn't know we were talking over him.
Yeah. So, oh well.
Oh well.
He'll get over it.
Hosts need more beer. Yes.
We have beer.
That would make us more entertaining, I think.
Sorry for the caps lock.
Yeah, quit yelling at us, Lane.
Jeez.
Gosh.
I could tell it's in caps lock because he tried to capitalize the first.
Oh, yeah.
See, thank you, Mike. It was a good show. I thought it was good. You'll go back and listen to it, and you'll be like, "Oh, that was actually better."
That's usually what happens.
Better than I
I'll
thought.
go back and entertain. I'll go back and edit the show, and I'm thinking, oh, well,
That's
yeah,
actually
it
really
was
good.
not as bad as I thought it was.
good.
Oh, okay, well, you're a good judge of character. Well,
Not
except for when it
usually.
comes to friends like me.
I'm a questionable judge of character at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Well,
That
see,
is how I
that's-
got myself into this mess.
Sadly,
going to
she knows that I'm
strange
harmless.
pilots. Well, yeah. If I hadn't met him on several occasions before that, that definitely would have happened.
That was not the first invitation for us to do something together. Hey, why don't you swing by the hotel room and you can be my
Come
co-pilot.
on over.
And it's only, now after several years of having Steph on board that I kind of look back at that and thinking, wow, that was kind of,
That was creeper.
Yeah, definitely creeper material.
It
Anyway.
didn't seem creepy at the time.
No, it didn't to me either. It was very, very innocent. Anyway, Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Show title, Kakalaki Hotel Hosts. Okay, no. Yeah, and...
No one cares.
No one cares about that guy. But, you know...
What?
The tequila, yeah. And it's got to be something that would be easy for Nick to kind of illustrate. Kakalaki Hotel
It's a hot
host.
sauce.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, I think Liz might be right. Sorry for the capsule.
What else did we talk about in the show today? Someone remind me.
Really nothing.
nothing
Not
of
really
substance.
much.
Really, not much at all.
It was kind of a slow news week.
We had a lot of news, though.
We had a lot, but it was...
But none of it was like, huh?
Yeah. Go ahead, Liz. Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, I like that. Middle America.
Yeah. And then just like American things in his mind, he could...
Yeah, he
throw
can
in there.
he can have like England, and then he can have like, I don't know, or somehow tiny America in there with
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And Armando.
So, I just realized that
Outside the fence, yeah.
nobody can hear what Liz is saying. That's good, huh? Okay. All right. Well, well, thank you for sharing that.
It's probably a good thing that no one can hear what Liz is saying. And with that, sorry for keeping you kind of in the dark there, but I think we've got show title material.
Nick's grumpy show.
Steph does karaoke. Tequila!
All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us on a Monday, which is not
Kind of an odd day.
Yeah, we don't commonly do Mondays unless it's a
But
situation like this where I'm in Charlotte. I think we've done a couple of Monday shows when I was here.
Yeah.
But and I think another thing I think that was throwing me off was that I usually do a lot more prep work for the show, and I mean not only like reading and having an idea of what we're going, but like doing the video stuff and overlays. And I think
Having
Liz
that
would
ready to go
agree that I usually do a lot more prep work ahead of. And I just didn't have enough time to do any of that because I just published on Sunday the last show, and then I got finished about midday, was it, Liz, that I kind of published the thing, and then it's like, you need to do something non-APG for the rest of the day.
Oh,
I
for
said,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to pack and do some laundry and get ready
Decompress
to do
and
the show.
have
Have
your
trip.
life outside of extreme ironing.
Extreme iron, yeah. I spent the next several hours ironing.
Just ironing one
Oh,
shirt
there he
over and
is.
over again. Hey,
Gosh
Rick.
darn it. Hey,
how come
Rick.
you're always ironing your shirt when we're supposed to be doing the show?
Rick. Can you hear us? Gosh darn it, he needs to do something about that microphone.
I know, he's really not very good.
Let's see if he can talk to us. Rick, can you hear us?
Oh.
Apparently
he can.
Yeah.
What?
We can't hear your microphone.
We'd like to know what you think about ironing shirts.
He thinks we can hear him. We cannot hear him.
It's so sad. So sad. He's like, no, I can't hear you.
I am so happy that he did that.
I know.
Put that
It's
on
really
Twitter.
Funny. It's really funny.
We'll never get tired of that.
No, that one will live on forever, for sure.
I think he's probably thinking, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, and the broadcast, our control room is telling us. So
we have to go now.
We have to take orders from...
And actually, we
her.
do have to go because Jeff has an early flight, and I've got a lot of work tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
Yay.
All right, with that, well, let's end the broadcast. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week. And then stay tuned and figure out when we're going to do this again next week. And I promise it'll be a lot better. Well,
Maybe.
I'm hoping anyway.